Well, honorable members, you may now got quorum. So you may ask him, Honorable Minister of Energy Long, sing out in prayer now the morning.
Wisdom and blessings upon each and every one of us, especially the Prime Minister of this country, the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition, all ministers, governors, members of parliament, the Speaker of the National Parliament, and all present in the chamber today. Lord, His wealth and His blessings belong to you. You have placed us here all as custodians. You will guide us to making the appropriate decisions, especially by us, the leaders of this nation called Papua New Guinea, in that we may discharge honestly and truthfully the services required by our people of this nation. Father God, we thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We also thank you for bringing us to this world through our mothers, individual mothers' wombs. And you've got our people to mandate us to lead them in our respective districts and electorates. Let us all say our Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, forever and ever. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Well, honorable members, me also am chairman electoral clear of the parliament long. Election by leader of the opposition. Even got to pass, he come up me. One like I'm the leader of the opposition, member long. Kirwana good enough, Honorable Douglas Tumrasi. Now I'm the pass, he come long, Honorable James Namane, member of the Suave. Tupla letter, she come me, and me conflicting. Law record, law word, walikisim. So let us split us all. And me now, also say make him the Saluk Sabe also. Until such time, all opposition only holding proper caucus meeting long. Now again, mark him noble leader, or only mark him current leader of the opposition is subject. And until such time, me still look Sabe long. Honorable Douglas Tumrasi, member of long, Kiruna good enough for some opposition leader. Sia 2 weeks in Narpla, Pasikam long, leader of opposition, long. Revoke appointment, long, honorable member of the Suave, also deputy opposition leader, and I may appoint him. Honorable James Donald, member of the North Fly, also deputy opposition leader, MCA2 looks Havila display. So, no deputy opposition leader, Honorable James Donald, a member of the North Fly. So sem finish until such time all opposition only sit down, no only hold him proper caucus long, only like make him send his opposition leader and all this lah. And now looks how we blow here by stable sem. For sem can finish. Honorable members, me like kisim sa luksabe, lo talk lo yumi al semigarol sumatin now teacher long Erebu Adventist Primary School, now sumatin now teachers lo Sacred Heart Berena Primary School, lo Central Province lo staff quantum yumi now lo public gallery, so lo behalf lo Parliament, me warm, me salem or extend him this lo welcome lo ibla lo staff lo Parliament. Any petitions? Notices? Mr. Clark?
Notice, the Minister for Provincial and Local Level Government Affairs gives notice that he shall present a proposed law to alter the organic law on provincial governments and local level governments and for related purposes.
Ask him in what talks I will long probably 5 minutes. I don't remember now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I ask my question without notice to the Minister for Provincial Affairs and Local Level Government Affairs, I wish to, on behalf of the people of Abao, congratulate the member for Central Bougainville for his re-election, Honorable Jimmy Mirintoro. Welcome to the Honorable House. Congratulations. I notice, Mr. Speaker, that the minister responsible is not in the chamber, so may I direct my questions to the Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, 12 days before polling of the local level governments, the Electoral Commissioner issued a notice that the polling would be deferred to September the 27th, which means that it was effectively a delay by another 3 months, just 12 days before the polling started. In the notice that the Electoral Commission released on the 30th of June, the Electoral Commissioner highlighted 4 reasons why the LLG elections were deferred. And may I be given the opportunity to outline some of those 4, which will form the basis of my questions to the Honorable Prime Minister. Number 1, quoted, the unprecedented scale and complexity of elections underway, which included the Motu-Koita elections, and then the different modes of elections in 12 provinces where ward members, where people will elect the president, and in Momase in the highlands, the ward members after the election will elect their presidents. And obviously the by-elections were part of that, so there was this complexity. Mr. Speaker, highlighting the need and the failure by the executive government to undertake this important local level government at this time, knowing very, very well that we were entering a 50th anniversary year, and then this complexity of elections highlighted by the Electoral Commission. Second reason he said was proclamation of late notification on new wards and new local level governments. The NEC approved 541 new wards, 43 new LLGs, 500 plus wards and 73 LLGs were provided to the Electoral Commission in May 2025, 1 month after the writs were issued. Mr. Speaker, this points to the poor administration and management of these LLG elections at day one. The NEC approved 541 new wards, 43 new LLGs, and the Minister for Provincial Affairs and Local Level Governments and the Minister responsible for LLGs and his secretary and his department failed to prepare these new wards and LLGs in readiness for the LLG elections. The third and further 1,000 new ward rolls were to be prepared after the writs were issued. I'm not making it up. This is coming straight from the Electoral Commission public notice. 43% of the 39 districts have different wards and LLG structures to the 2022 elections. 118 out of 334 LLGs, or 32%, have been established or established since 2019. So NEC in its decision, in my view, Mr. Speaker, messed this entire system up to begin with. Third reason was administrative irregularity.
Honorable Member for Baoche is interrupting you. You are making statements. Can you ask your question?
I want to give this background because the questions are straightforward. The people of Papua New Guinea need to know why is it 12 months before the polling started, the Electoral Commission deferred the LLG elections. All got a line, all go campaign, all candidates, all got a morning finish. 12 days before that. Anyway, many irregularities. Fourth one and the final one was funding and procurement delays. The 100 million appropriated in 2024 budget was never delivered until March 2025. The 2025 budget appropriation was never delivered by the time the Electoral Commission issued this notice in June of 2025. Mr. Speaker, the questions are, can the Prime Minister admit that the government has drastically failed the people of Papua New Guinea by badly preparing for the mess that his government through NEC decisions created? And can the Prime Minister apologize to the people? Can the Prime Minister acknowledge that the NEC failed in its hurry to approve so many wards and so many LLGs? Can the Prime Minister inform this Honourable House, where are these new wards? Where are these LLGs? Can the Honourable House be given the privilege of that information? Can the Prime Minister acknowledge that the NEC decision, after so-called consulting with the provincial governments, to hold two different modes of elections for presidents. Can the Prime Minister admit that that was a mistake, and that can the Prime Minister and his minister make an undertaking to provide a legislative that will conduct a uniform process in the LLG elections rather than two different modes of LLG elections? I would have thought, Mr. Speaker, that the Highlands region and the Momase region, according to the Parliamentary Committee on Elections, noted that these were hotspots in the 2022 elections. That the NEC and the Electoral Commissioner would have allowed the presidents to be elected by the people in these two hotspots as readiness for the 2027 elections, preparing the processes better for the coming national general elections. Can the Prime Minister make an undertaking to remove two people, that is a Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Local Level Governments, because they failed to prepare this excess number of wards and LLGs in readiness for the LLG elections. The second person I'm recommending for the NEC to replace and sack is the current Electoral Commissioner, because he has passed his legal biological age for retirement. Lastly, can I ask the Prime Minister to explain to the people of Papua New Guinea the reasons to allow the Electoral Commissioner to verify the reasons why the Electoral Commissioner delayed this important election by 3 months to polling to take place on the 27th. And finally, by the time I had a visit from my district CEO 1 week before the polling, because he was called by the provincial election manager to have a meeting. When he came back, he briefed me that the province had not received any funding from the Electoral Commission. Can, Mr. Speaker, can the Prime Minister make sure that this important issue of timely funding be managed better than it had been for many, many years, particularly during elections? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. We like Dr. Thank you, Law Member Blabao Long asked him a series of important questions. But Central, me looks along Member of the Central Bougainville. Thank you, Law winning back here. You all in before. Congratulations to yourself and your people for your re-election. We look forward to working with you to fulfill your people's aspirations. Me like also looks along Sia making ruling. Long member of long not fly. Long come up deputy opposite leader. As a child of the North Fly district, having spent 6 years of my early lives, first 6 years of my life in North Fly district, I want to congratulate member for North Fly for ascending into the second highest office in the opposition, His Majesty's opposition. I want to also look how long beginning like Edevu and our teachers. There was one Saturday I went unannounced to Edevu for church up there, and I was graciously hosted by them. Looks how long at beginning like Edevu, and of course I'm not long beginning comes down here. And to all our teachers, thank you for serving faithfully, not just in Edevu but right throughout the length and breadth of our country. Question blow member Blabao, me good luck question. Me like remind him, you may all get on a country. The mid-election, you may have him now, that's the time. we are picking up from the slacks of 2017 election preparations. 2017, national elections in Irani, LNG elections were deferred with no proper programming, but unprogrammed deferral based on, at the time, the rush to stage 2017 elections. So the LNG elections was indirectly pushed back as a consequence of the 2017 lack of preparations. So we pick up the 2020, the LNG elections in midterm with no consequential legislative amendments to anchor the midterm elections or last term. It is what it is that has happened. So LNG elections for last term happened, I think, in 2018 or 2019, if my memory is not correct. I stand to be corrected. Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament will be reminded that I think sometimes last year we passed a law securing that LNG elections now, that has also a retrospective effect. I'm affirming the 5-year tenancy of the last return of rates for all LNGs, and you may start the midterm elections from all LNGs. This term, we're having it midterm going forward. So as an indirect consequence of deferred 2017 LNG elections, we've now arrived at a system and something that I am seeing it in the positive, that we will have something similar to what happens in U.S. Congress or Australian Senate, U.S. Senate, where midterms, rotations going on in leadership. Mr. Speaker, you leader, you come through the LNG process. You're clearly important for this group of leaders, and me like kissing this question to talk sorry through. Don't look at the candidates who said you stopped nationwide for you to feel the pain of this seemingly unpreparedness and seemingly deferral or actual deferral that has taken place has affected the length of time. So kissing this question, wrong lo talk sorry, wrong lo talk, and me happen affecting all the candidate below me throughout the country. You send out some council or president, big talk sorry lo yupla. But nonetheless, it is not abandoned. The election is still happening. Cabinet was advised of the consequences of running election right in the face of a 50th and the congestions that were taking place. And the electoral commissioner is not wrong. There were many elections running at the same time, all demanding time, resource, and supervision from the electoral commission. Right now, 6 by-elections running. Motu Koita, Assembly was running. The autonomous region of Bougainville, while we have no direct oversight, there's an element of resource allocation and just a lateral glance at what is happening there. The Bougainville government's election is running. And of course, the LNG, compounded with the provincial and local level government trying to clear up population-based submissions that came in. And these submissions are as old as 5-6 years, dates back sometime, that these LLGs must change. These LLGs must change, or the wards must be split, new LLGs must be created. Those submissions came in, I admit it came in, some came in pretty late. Good news is that we have made decision based on advice from the Electoral Commission that those LLGs that are new, you may stop him past them, you may get relook again and call him supplementary election behind, all kind of stuff. But the other LLGs are running its course. We intend to deliver the LLG elections as rescheduled, and I want to indicate to all our people and all our contestants on the ground. Someone from, I just give you an example from electorate. The fly-in, fly-out candidates, I call them fly-in, fly-out candidates. They don't live in Tari. They live in Mosby and they just want to go up there nominated. Then they come back. For me, an indirect benefit is that it eliminates the fly-in, fly-out candidates. The actual LLG leadership must be on the ground with the people. So even if it is 1 month late, for me, for Tari now, it eliminates the fly-in, fly-out candidates. Election of councillor, you must leave the standard people on the ground longer time. And councillor, you never spending money like my councillor. Leadership blow you, passing blow you, talk blow you, scaling kaika blow you, killing pig blow you, mocha blow you, and leadership on the ground. So indirectly, that extension has eliminated the fly-in, fly-out, caste-based politics that has eroded the value of leadership in our country. So, some of the time in the hindsight, the pushback me like my students, me plan on abandoning elections. Elections will still run after the 50th occasion has been dealt with after September 16. Elections comes up the next week. So, mitok sores I was causing inconvenience long plenty of candidate. It is what it is. Electoral Commissioner's word is Electoral Commissioner's word. I don't supervise everyday work with Electoral Commissioner. My own views on the Electoral Commission and the way it is running, I just want to be transparent. I am not happy with the way it is running. There's really a recurrent job every 5 years for the Electoral Commission to be prepared for elections. And the process in dealing with incompetency is there. Incompetencies at all levels, the process will be deployed to ascertain where leadership is maintained or leadership is removed. Member Fabao, your concern is as good as my concern. We are absolutely concerned about the capacity in key of these constitutional officers, including the Electoral Commission, and some of your suggestions on getting a couple of those key officers looked into. I would not say I have power to deal with them in a response to questions like this, but certainly based on competency, performance, and circumstances arise, due processes will take its course to see whether these officers could be held by current incumbent or otherwise going forward. And I want to say, suffice to say, I hope this round of my response in summary tries to embrace your 5 or 6 questions you raised. I'll get my office to get through all the questions you raised. If I could ask the honorable member to furnish in writing the questions to me, we will get a good response back to you in writing, as well as look into some of these matters that needs to be made. But to our LLG contestants nationwide, the extension has come to also indirectly show you don't need money to win your seat at the elections. Your leadership will ensure people vote for you, and to our people throughout the country, on black councillor or president contestant come offering money, not going to kiss money. Or even people, member to the parliament, not going to ask you money and not going to kiss money. It's about time we move to a stage where we vote for leaders based on the merit of voting for leaders. I want to also indicate, as I'm reminded in my notes, the two-presidential system is something that we all must agree to fix, both sides of the House. So as part of our 50th anniversary work in the reset, I received stress or contest in my own caucus from the governors. We have 2 clusters of governors. One wants people to elect the LLG presidents. One wants the LLG presidents to come up through the ward councillors to elect the presidents. I think all of us look deep within, and we all agree, as the good senior member has said, there should be one format of election of presidents throughout our country. That's something we could present to our people at the 50th in our discourses. Thank you too much. If the member could shoot me those questions condensed in writing, I will make a concerted effort to do a reply and also inform this parliament later on if need be.
Supplementary, Honorable Governor Blong. Morobe?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the leave to ask the supplementary question. Before I proceed with that supplementary question, on behalf of the people of Morobe Province, constituted of almost 1 million people, I'd like to congratulate the new member for Central Bougainville, which has been elected by the process of by-election. I congratulate you. And I don't need to tell you what you need to do, but I think Bougainville business is very clear. And I'm sure you will work with the President
Ismail Turama to implement or to make sure the dreams of the Bougainville people are realized one day. And you have my support in anything that I need to support you, and you need my help. I just stand by to help you. Mr. Speaker, I direct my supplementary question to the Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Prime Minister, the Section 34, subsection 1 of the Organic Law on Provincial and Local Level Governments states very clearly that the election of the National Parliament, pursuant to Section 105 of the Constitution, and the election of the LNG President must be concurrent. Concurrent. That is the words of Section 34. Unfortunately, the election of the LNG President, I understand that previously, was in 2019. And 2019, so if you're calculating as 5-year term or lifetime of the LNG Council President and Ward Councillors, it would expire last year, 2024. So if they continue to hold position as a Ward Councillor and as a LLG, it will be illegal. If you're going by 5 years, if you're going by Section 34, subsection 1, reading together with Section 105 of the PNG Constitution. Unfortunately, Prime Minister, the election has not been conducted concurrently. And we have challenged, Mr. Speaker, in the Supreme Court, Mount Gelway, the referrer, and the Morobe Provincial Government, Provincial Executive Council as the intervener, were challenged into the Supreme Court. And we told the Supreme Court,
Honorable Governor, what is your supplementary question?
Speaker, I appreciate it. I will just finish this in a very short time, because the Prime Minister needs to know the context in which I'm asking this question, or I'm going to ask this question. So the Supreme Court has made a wrong decision. We argued in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has made a wrong decision.
We have a point of order. Honourable Minister, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, the Governor from Morobe knows very well. He's a learned lawyer by profession. He shouldn't be discussing matters of court in this forum, especially in Parliament, and trying to criticize whether the decision of the Supreme Court is wrong or right. That's up to the Supreme Court. He should go straight to his supplementary question. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, in order, Minister. Honourable Governor of Morbe, you go straight to ask him, Blue.
Distinguished member.
No.
The matter has been settled. The matter has been settled. Decision has been made. It's not continuing. If it is continuing, yes, then I will be stopped. Mr. Speaker, so my question is, the ruling of the Supreme Court made it is discretionary. It's no longer compulsory. That is why the Speaker of the Electoral Commissioner is continuing to extend and extending at his own will. Because the interpretation is wrong. So I'm asking the Prime Minister, I know that you have no power under the Constitution or any law in this country to direct the Electoral Commission to act in a way we are thinking. But you are the head of the government. You are in control of this government. You have every right to tell him what the government and the people of this nation is thinking for the goodness of the people of this country. So, Prime Minister, I'm asking you, could you tell or recommend, sorry, that's the right word, recommend to the Electoral Commissioner to defer this election indefinitely until we fix the law, and fixing the law, making sure the lifetime of the council president and council wards is legislated. If it is 5 years, 5 years. And it starts from when and finishes of when. We need the legislation to fix that thing. Second, Dr. Pocatemo rightly puts it in relation to the election of the council president and the ward councillors. there must be uniformity in this country in relation to the manner in which we elect and the title that they're going to hold in relation to the council president and the wards. So I'm asking you, for the sake of uniformity in this country, can we have the council president, in the bill there, council president to be elected by the people, and their term is for 5 years, and the council should be elected by the people, and their term should be 5 years. I ask in your mercy, Prime Minister, to recommend to the Electoral Commission. Otherwise, we will have Electoral Commission play its game and making the people suffer, as now the member for Arbor is telling this Parliament and the nation to hear. And the councils are really suffering.
Yes.
Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me, I'd like to thank you, Lord Governor Long Morobe, the Honorable Governor Wenge, Long asking this supplementary question. Again, I stand to be corrected, but it is in my considered view that this Parliament has already considered an amendment, and there is an amendment to law that has secured midterm 5-year running, retrospective to the last time the LNG was held. So it effectively has legalized the vacuum created as a result of the 2017 deferment. But let me get my notes revised. I'll get the relevant minister and the department to affirm whether there is a vacuum in law. In my considered view, that vacuum has been filled, and the amendment this Parliament, the 10th Parliament, has considered already. But on the issue of making uniformity in the LLG presidential elections, it is a fair consideration. It is a fair consideration to the country. There's a split of recommendations emerging from different provincial assemblies. We have provincial governments we have in our country. The 5 Highlands provinces and Morobe province want the current mode of presidential elections, where councillors are electing their presidents, to be maintained for this election. And of course, rest of our provinces want the people to elect the president. So we do have these 2 different modes that also has added to the congestion in resource allocation and administrative processes, especially on securing relevant ballot papers and relevant ballot materials, voting materials rather. I want to inform through this supplementary, Governor, and every one of you, as I speak today, all relevant materials are now processed, finalized, prepared, and I want to thank the Australian government. We had made a call to them in terms of printing the ballot papers. Our own government printer was not able to print out the correct required ballot paper type. And so a call was made, and we procured those printing overseas, and they have been uplifted, prepared, and in fact the Australian government has also gone out to make sure the logistics in delivery to our provinces will take place. So it is being finalized and prepared as we speak. But coming back to the 2 types of presidential election, we have all of us, all leaders and all provinces, we must decide on one format. If you ask for my own personal view, my view is people must elect a president. But again, my view is not all by and all. I'm conditioned precedent to the collective views of all of us, especially resolutions from the provincial governments concerned on your choice of mode of election. Let's study this part of our 50th anniversary law changes. From this year to next year, September 16 or 15, we must clean up some of this so that we prepare our country to live beyond 50 years in a uniform manner instead of some of the ad hoc arrangements we have as we speak. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We have another supplementary, Honorable Governor for Pacific.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary is quite short. Number one, first of all, let me express my gratitude to the PM for his commitment for the midterms, because I think that's the right way to go. But I think you need to, the first question is, I don't recall having pass this particular amendment, and you could ask your lawyers, and if not, I want you to give a commitment to bring the amendment to the floor through you, Mr. Speaker. The second one is, and this is stemming from my work as the chairman of the Special Committee on Elections. These 543 wards, could the Prime Minister also, in his undertaking to give us a response later on in detail, could you also bring to the House these 543 wards? And so we can be transparent about how these wards are being created. The information I received, Mr. Speaker, by way of a very short explanation, is that some members of parliament create additional wards so that they can use it when it comes to the elections. So we've got to tidy up this correlation between the new wards, whether they are real wards or mythical wards, and therefore if the Prime Minister could give an undertaking to bring that list of wards to Parliament so Yumi Olgada can serve and people too can serve. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good supplementary question come Governor Blong speak. The new wards, one the ministry processing, cabinet approving, Bamik Mibla Karam Kamlo here, na Ogada looks away. And also talks all of people, na talks all of Parliament long process where creating this Planubla ward and Hamas Planubla ward is stopped. So I mean, no hard task for working. It is proper for the country to know which are the new wards created. I'll get the minister concerned. If not, this question has come to me. So this time next week, if the Parliament can give me a time to make a response on this one, the country deserves to know in totality. But population is increased, the process for creating Nubla ward too. When we talk Salo Yumi Olgada, so everyone you clear, all the provinces too can look in because councillor and important leadership on the ground. I think there was a cabinet not too long ago, they play approving long look Salo some resourcing too, long of councillors Limi. That time this la paper came me talk. Work long all must come up clear too. If we make a reform the provincial government, know what workload clear. If we're working workload today, know what work is clear. So we will attack part of this clearance from the working. We give him barely so long, Governor Long Isipik. We will get the full report out on which new wards are created, those that are being deferred in terms of the elections, and also in that same paper, I think it's advisable to indicate to this House what are the process and steps required for wards to be created in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Governor Blong, Northern Province.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My series of questions are directed to the Minister for Mining, but I'd also like the Minister responsible for Environment Conservation to also take note, as well as the Prime Minister. My series of questions pertain to the potentially largest nickel cobalt project in Papua New Guinea to be housed in Oro Province, the Mambare Nickel Cobalt Project. I'll give some background on this project, but I'll be brief, Mr. Speaker, and then I'll go to the series of questions that I wish to ask the Minister so that he can clarify on behalf of the government and his ministry so that the people of Oro can be aware of why this project is stalled and continues to be stalled to their detriment. The particular project I speak of, Minister, the Mambare Nickel Cobalt Project, Exploration License 1390. Well, we understand that the company that holds that license had applied for a mining license, specifically for easement 114 and 132. Minister for Mining, Mr. Mugu Abdilu, without the clearance of the Mining Advisory Council. My efforts to get clarification from the Minerals Resource Authority has fallen on deaf ears. I've sent 2 letters requesting information. I have not even received one acknowledgement from this organization on my letters
that I have written seeking clarification on behalf of my people. And hence my question to you, Minister. Minister, I believe that the MRA has done its technical assessment of the application and has made its report to the MSC for deliberations. But to date, nothing seems to be happening with this project. Can the Mining Minister please advise whether the Mining Advisory Council has dealt with the matter, and if so, what was the MSC recommendation? Furthermore, I believe ML 530 has not been registered on the tenement register. Hence, Oro Nickel cannot proceed with the development of this project. Can the Minister advise the people of Oro why there is a delay? Thirdly, I am aware that the Mambara project in Oro province has the potential to be a large-scale mining project similar to the Ramu Nickel project in Madang province. But the question is, if this project is projected to be bigger than the Ramu Nickel project, why is Oro Nickel applying for a mining lease and not a special mining lease? The people of Oro province have been waiting for this project for a very long time to be developed, and we would appreciate some clarification on this matter. And may I add, ministers, please hold your departments, authorities, ministries to account. They are not responding to our letters. Why is this? We are elected by our people to represent them and query and question what is happening in our province and districts. And I would propose that these particular public servants who are not responsive, who don't seem to care about their country, they should be sacked. Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I thank the Governor for raising, I think, 3 particular questions in respect to this mining project. I think by way of background, he stated few facts in relation to this particular project. Now, the Oro nickel project, nickel cobalt project, is about 95 kilometers northeast of Mosby. Before my tenure as minister, and he's given few of the historical facts about this particular project. It's gone through several ministers and it's ended up in my care now. I will confirm that I've received from him. I'm not sure about my department, and I want to put on record that yes, my department has not been responsive, and I've come to understand that in particular the managing director has not been responding to simple responses that ministers or members, vice ministers have been writing to us. So I am going to put him on notice, and I say this so that he can hear me as of today, that he must respond to elected members on the floor on the quiz, and even to me as his minister as well. So from me, my department, I confirm I received a written response from a query of questions from the good governor, which would I put shy a footnote that it put in motion in particular respect to this project. The granting of the ML 530, which happened previously in my term, when I inquired on the details of this project, yes, there was some process within MRA which were not completed for a purported grant, which Mr. Governor, through the Speaker, through you, I've written to MD, and they've met last month on the 16th June. And I have before me in my office a letter that's dated this month, 20th, and MSC has met a special MSC meeting, particularly to address the questions that is raised and the issues on why we have not started this project. So in that special MSC meeting, it was understood that there was some form of element where process manipulate law MRA were not followed. That's the recommendation to me in letter first question is there a MSC meeting happening on this project? I confirm yes. There was one special meeting that happened last month, and that recommendation has been sent to me, which is, the recommendation is to cancel the previous grant that was given by the previous minister, and cancel him grant and put him go back, because much of those process, few of those process guided by the Mining Act were not fulfilled. And it is compulsory for that process to happen for a minister to grant. So therefore, first question, yes, MSC and MIT. Leading up to that, they've written a letter to me which I will endorse and we will cancel because the process itself, I am guided by the process. So that process was not fulfilled, so thus we will cancel that particular EL for that project. Number two, the size of the project, and it's mentioned Ramu Nicol. I think it's Ramu Nicol too has some issues they need to attend because one, the good governor himself, Governor Blumedic, to raise some issues on when the expansion program will happen and when the provincial government will come into play. And I think the good governor, being a very learned man, understands that once we establish the process for mining list, na imigolo SML time and provincial government, the landowners, they come into play. So I can assure, same as that in the size and magnitude project, yes, you may confirm on the BIPRA project. I am Nicol na Cobalt project, the resource definition, now one sample exploration has been come to confirm the size. Now the particular application, yes, it's in a mining list form. Now, unlike gold, copper, where you may dig go down, nickel, and you must surface grading stripping. Surface stripping, we rouse in nickel, like so the process is quite different. So therefore, they've applied for a mining list, and given if there's any changes of expansion, we'll go into an SML process, and the governor and plus the district members will be very much involved in that process if we go to the next stage of an SML. The third one, Loemari respond me to opinions. Me apologize on behalf of my department, and the MD is put on notice through this question without notice that he has to respond. And I apologize that my response to you didn't come because your letter provoking me, set him up as a special MAC meeting, and thus we will go ahead with the cancellation. And Governor, I will work with you through your office and the other open members to ensure that you may permit him the project through the normal process MRA. Now Mining Act, to ensure that DL must give in through the right way, maybe starting projects so the people of Oro can benefit through this project. So I commit my department and my ministry to ensure I work with the relevant departments, including Governor Law. I think him so Governor, yes, me respond Lusla. I hope I responded and I can do a written response, including the MAL recommendations, MAC recommendations, and my decision as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Nawab.
The time for the voices of Nawai to be heard in this prestigious house this morning. Thank you. Questions without notice. I'd like to direct this directly to our good Minister for Works and Highway. And I would like the good Prime Minister and also the Minister for Police to take note. On winning these elections in 2022, the first phone call I made was to my mother. The reply I got from her was straight out, remember your people. Not congratulations. Remember your people. Well, joining this esteemed leaders here, I come to find out that a handful of people have never heard of Nawe. I don't know why, but Nawe seems to be in a dark corner somewhere. In September the 12th, we had a launching of our 5-year plan. And there was commitments made to my people of Nawe, which we are still waiting on. Nawe, the geography of Nawe is made up of something that's unbelievable. It's made up of sand and mud. No stone, sand and mud. We can spend 800,000 kina on fixing a landslide, and yet the next day, it's collapsed again. We appreciate the money coming from the government. We appreciate every toy that comes from the government. But we need assistance. We need a commitment that was made to push mountains over. We can't go around mountains anymore. We have, every kilometer we have a river. We have landslides on the coastal side and on the mountain side, everywhere. It comes to an attention that I believe Naui people have been categorized as beggars. We all put here as Wokman people by Mipla. We are not above our people. So whatever assistance we can get or commitment that's made, I'd ask the good minister, please. 2024, as you said, the roads will be worked on. We're still waiting. I've been asked every time I go out. Sorry, remember you, Yaman Mipla. I now would like the people of Naui to acknowledge you are not beggars. On behalf of the people, I'm the beggar. I will take a kneel now. To the minister and beg him, please, look at our people. Without money is hard at the moment. Whatever we get, as I said, we appreciate it. Finance Minister, thank you very much. Whatever you put through our people. We're stretching every toya we get through our system. We're treating every toya like 1,000 kina. And we are making forward movements in our district. But please, commitments. If you have the chance, please look at your commitments. I think there's a lot of other people in that category. Just help us a bit more. You know, Naui, as I said, the geography of Naui is second to none. Second to none. And it's only made, as I said, it's only made of mud and sand. And whatever assistance we can get, please, we would appreciate anything at all. So, Minister, please do not forget Naui. I want Naui to come out of the dark corners. I don't want my people to be beggars. I've just begged for them. Thank you, Speaker, people of the Parliament.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, through you, Speaker. Me, this is plan time lo talk. Thank you lo. Good plan. Question. Good plan points you raise him lo on behalf of the people of Naui. I confirm that before last year, mepla September 12, mepla golo Naui. Now make him some commitment because Naui hemi road start lo erap. Na kati godan lo Naui na bien kambe lo lay city can. Na hemi stop cross lo lay electorate too. So you stop cross lo lay. Now also kambe ko sem lo mountainside lo boanana. Now, why even got some missing link? Now this road play a very important road. Now we play been making commitment long supporting you long missing link. Long join him now making some maintenance work now connect him go down Ken Lake City. Now also even got some road backside to Lake City. Long now why go back and also some places. Law this time me play got all changes law. Secretary na come now me play start law making some law changes too long. All funding me play start put him law connect PNC you me law flood and people were providing him as a connect PNC priority must go along all national highways. And then underneath that plan me play broke me got some law fundings, you got all missing links or all economic, all corridors. And then you got all fundings where third one all sub-national roads. Sub-national roads, all funds called provinces, now all districts. Where me apply by Naplo, help him launch road. So some all fundings, me apply through the missing link, and me apply can support him. Now also through law, sub-national roads fundings where me pack underneath law me apply, all works but is underneath law planning. Where by he support him, all districts, now all provinces, all provincial roads, because people are giving priority to national roads. That's why some of the slot funds when people can kiss him, now support him you, now all districts, now all even all provincial roads, the country, and Mr. Law planning. But underneath law missing links, and people categorize him, now put him all fundings through all corridors. People got all 13 corridors, now all fundings now we start putting coastal corridor. So we now browse money on the corridor or on the corridor. So law transparency purposes. Now all plan is something we plan making, and we start not making. So one time display, and by me supporting you now by rule of display fundings through the missing link. Now also through law subnational road, law try law helping you, law display road play you, law Nawai district, and we cross the city. So behind long parliament, you can look at me. Afternoon I'm to discuss that. Talk long all officers from me plan. Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable members, over 5 minutes long. Ask him, talk sabi, and you abro si mo katapilis. Leader of government business.
Mr. Speaker, I ask Legal Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted? Leave granted.
Mr. Speaker, I move that so much of the standing orders be suspended as would prevent notice number 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, and 161 government business being called on forthwith.
Question is, the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Notice number 155, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration.
Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Flans, Fiscal Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Land Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Land Act 1996 and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Flans, Fiscal Planning.
I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Flans and Fiscal Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill now be read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker and members of the Honorable House, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the proposed amendments to the Land Act 1996, Physical Planning 1989, Surveys Act 1969, Survey Coordination Act 1967, Land Registration Act 1981, and Valuation Act 1967. Mr. Speaker, these legislations are being amended to have new provisions to cater for the electronic platforms. This is to reduce cumbersome processes with paper-based approaches and ensure land dealings, including communications, are done in a timely manner and improve overall productivity. Mr. Speaker, each of the legislations have their own business process stipulated that will be improved and enhanced with the implementation of the digital platforms that are tailored to the business processes and needs. Mr. Speaker, these amendments aim to reduce delays in land dealings, modernize administrative processes, and improve communication and productivity within the department and its stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, with respect to the specific legislations, Land Act 1996, amendments were made to allow for the use of electronic platforms and in the administration of state leases, granting of state leases, renewal of expiring state leases, and improving the voluntary mobilization of customary land into bankable state leases, building on from the successful Tuhava concept. Mr. Speaker, Land Registration Act 1981. Amendments were made to allow for the use of electronic platforms and to the interpretation of the legislation to harmonize with the Principal Act, that is the Land Act 1996. Physical Planning Act 1989. Amendments were made to allow for the use of electronic platforms. Survey Act 1969. Amendments were made to include provisions on electronic platforms. Survey Coordination Act 1967, amendments were made to include the use of electronic platforms. Valuation Act, Mr. Speaker, 1967, amendments were made to include the use of electronic platforms. Mr. Speaker, you will note from the dates attached to these acts of Parliament dealing with land that they are largely older than our country. Further, the overarching aim is to digitalize and streamline land administration laws to reflect modern operational needs. On that note, Mr. Speaker, these amendments are technical amendments. I am happy to announce that a full review of these legislations will commence soon. They are currently underway. Mr. Speaker, major changes and amendments to existing laws require comprehensive consultations. With that, Mr. Speaker, I commend the proposed amendments to the Land Act 1996, the Physical Planning 1989, Surveys Act 1969, Survey Coordination Act 1967, Valuation Act 1967, and Land Registration Act 1981. To the Honourable House, and in accordance with the standing orders, open debate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Abau.
Speaker, I rise with partial support to the Minister's changes, particularly I'm referencing the amendment to the Land Act, Amendment Bill 2025. I am thankful that the Minister has now, in Section 19, clarified this long overdue confusion, and I commend the Minister for clarifying on particularly subsection 132 on the disposal of customary land. That it is now clear that the people must know that nobody has the power, even the landowner, to sell customary land. Nobody must sell customary land. Those of you in Pari, those of you in Tatana, Hanuabada, my people of Abau, you have now no right to sell any land to anybody. If you think that you have sold the land, that is illegal, and we have to go back to a new agreement for long-term lease. All this Taurama Valley land, that is so-called land and Gereka land, that has been sold, it's not sold. We have to now, Minister, you have to now work on a long-term lease for the people so that our people do not lose the land. We own land and land owns us. That's a saying that we promote. So this alienation has to stop. No more land, people must be alienated from their land. And I want you to further process process so that this provision that subsection 10, a customary land owner has no power to sell customary land, and such a sale is of no effect in law. I want the nation to know, and I commend the minister for bringing this. It's in law, but it's now further clarified. And also commend the minister for catching up with the digital age. I think we really have to move to e-land management, e-title application, etc., etc. But I have a concern, Mr. Speaker, but I only got this yesterday, so we haven't had a chance to go through it. And I strongly recommend that, this type of amendments to important issues like Land Act, can they be distributed earlier, a month earlier? Can we not allow Parliament to allow the executive government to take control of the legislature? So that we are given enough chance to study these important laws. Because the legislature, the executive government is now impacting on the legislature where you are the head of the legislature. And those of us who want to debate proficiently, we can't because we are only given notice 12 hours ago. But as I was reading through, I just want to raise an issue which I could be reading wrongly, and that is that Section 15 of the Land Act, the amendment. Section 15 of the amendment reads, power of minister to grant lease direct. Power of the minister to grant lease direct. Repeal and replacement of Section 72. This plan me worry now. Why should a minister of state have direct powers to approve? Maybe using these electronic processes without going to the land board. That is very important. The land board must vet all these things. Otherwise, as we know, Sampla minister is good plan, Sampla minister is no good plan. And so I'm worried about Section 15. I strongly recommend if the minister can explain to the House the true meaning of Section 15, where he is asking the Parliament to give him power to grant lease direct. And I hope I'm not reading it wrong. Particularly, subsection 72K, a lease issued following the expiry of an existing state lease under Section 65(2) without referring the matter to the land board. And we worry now. Without referring the matter to the land board, and the minister by law, we at the Parliament is now going to give him direct authority to directly grant. And so, Mr. Speaker, I raised some concerns, and I only request, I know that they got the numbers to pass this amendment, but I hope that the minister can take up this challenge. And because land is very, very important, we must not allow ministers of land to have excess power. They must not be allowed to have excess power to allow direct lease grant. And now that the electronic process has been promoted, it can be done very easily without anybody knowing it, and the title is already transferred, and the agri people will go to court. It takes 40 years for the court to clean this up. Meanwhile, people have died, they have fought over land, some have been killed over land, and so we don't want this to happen. We really want the land laws to be very clear and recognize customary land. The Constitution recognizes how we have been managing customary land tenureship over centuries. The Constitution recognizes it. Look Sabe. And in the customary land process, there is no minister in this process, all these thousands of years that we have managed our own land. No minister has been interfering. And now, in this amendment, unfortunately, maybe I am reading it wrong, but I'm reading what is on paper, and I'm very worried about Section 15, where subheading says, power of minister to grant lease direct, repeal and replacement of Section 72. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Governor Foro.
I stand to support this bill. And just add my comments in relation to this. First and foremost, I want to commend the Minister for taking advantage of the developments in technology. He's done this with migration, and as a result, we're able to see faster processing of visas, passports, and other activities at migration, and I'm quite happy to see that he's doing this in lands, and I will support this. Although I do agree with Sepuka on his comments that we should ensure that we have necessary mechanisms in place to protect the interests of our people. We're a very blessed country, probably one of the few countries where our people own their own land. It said 97%, depends, but it's in that vicinity. Land is precious. It's our form of social security. That's why we have to make a very concerted effort at protecting the interest of the custodians of the land. We have seen many examples of land being stolen, land grabs taking place. State land mainly. But now, more and more, we are seeing traditional land also being stolen. What mechanisms are we putting in place to protect traditional landowners? You'll note that most traditional landowners live on their land. And the deals that are being perpetrated are made by those who are not landowners, but who happen to be residing in towns, sometimes walking the corridors of various offices in Waigani, pushing papers and documents. The brigade of culprits that often hang around at the back of Boroko Post Office with their manila folders and all types of deals that they're cutting with logging companies and mining companies and whoever else is keen to come and develop a portion of land for whatever reason. So what are we doing to protect the interests of these landowners, genuine landowners, who live on their land, most of whom are illiterate? I found that they're illiterate because they found no reason to leave their land. They've got everything they need there. All their resources are there. So as a result, they tend to be there on their land, often oblivious to the deals that are being concocted for the resources that are on their land or under their land. So whilst we proceed with various amendments, various efforts to open up our country for investment, we must not forget to put in mechanisms to protect our genuine landowners. Oro Province, we have stood with our landowners on numerous occasions to fight for their rights. We have won several cases against illegal logging companies. In fact, the most recent was 2 weeks ago, where I was taken to court by a particular company operating illegally, still illegally. Lands Minister, please take note. This company is operating in Wanigela, Oro Province, claiming to be an agroforestry company. It is now encroaching on traditional land, Minister. I have written to your ministry. I have raised this matter with Minister Forest and the various departments. Again, no response. And they took me to court because I dared to stand up for our landowners there. I'm proud to say that I won this case 2 weeks ago against this company that is illegally operating on a portion of land known as Utan Plantation, Minister. And now they are encroaching on traditional land. And it's not just in there. They're doing this in an area known as Musa Pongani as well. Again, another illegal land activity that's taking place there. By again, another company claiming to be an agroforestry research or agroforestry development company, also operating there illegally. Minister Lance, you are also Minister for Migration. And you did a wonderful job by sending your team out there to do a sweep of illegal miners operating in Waubulolo. I believe you deported 19 of them. Minister, there are more than 19 illegals operating in Musa Pongani and Utan Plantation. I can tell you, please send your officers from migration to go and do their job. These are examples of what happens when we don't protect the interests of our landowners. The ones who have elected us to represent them, to speak for them, to stand for them. The ones that we must not forget. When we enter this parliament, we must not abandon them and their dreams and hopes and aspirations at the doorways, but we must bring them with us and fight for their interests at all times. I'm sad to say that in many instances, many government departments now, authorities especially, created to protect and promote PNG interests, have instead deviated from their interests to protect PNG interests, promote PNG interests, and are instead serving whoever turns up with some whimsical idea and a bag of money. And suddenly they have a license here, a permit there, and they turn up, oftentimes with police. They can even abuse our court systems. And our people don't have the wherewithal to protect their land interests. So in such amendments, what are we doing to ensure that these people, our illiterate people, but our people, their interests are protected? What are we doing with these amendments? In that regard, I will support this because I see the minister as being a very progressive minister. He's getting things done. He's doing that with migration, he's doing that with lands, and so therefore I have trust and faith that he's going to do the right thing. But I just want to urge that we also put in place mechanisms to protect our people out there who don't have the financial wherewithal to go to court, to fight and protect their interests, that we must do that on their behalf. It has been said many times that Papua New Guinea is so blessed. It's blessed, it's the land of milk and honey. Moses never made it here, but this is the land of milk and honey. And a lot of people know this. A lot of investors know this. A lot of very ruthless, powerful, insidious forces know this. And they're turning up to rape and plunder. And we are the ones who are supposed to be protecting and promoting the interests of our people. We are not meeting those expectations, I can tell you. If the Forestry Department is any example, if the Lands Department is any example, if the Department of Environment and Conservation is any example, there needs to be a shake-up in these departments. Ministers, when you take office in your ministries, the first thing you should do is do a complete diagnostic of your ministry, your department, your authority, whatever it is that comes under you. Find out if they're performing their duties to the people of Papua New Guinea 24/7, 365, as they are charged to do, as they sign their oath to do. Are they doing that or not? In many instances, ministers, I will tell you that they're not doing it. And then in such cases, you are not to be fearful, but you have to be aggressive, especially now, going for the next 50 years. We should be making a very assertive, aggressive stance at protecting and promoting the interests of our country and our people, especially those landowners, those illiterate landowners who voted us to be here to protect and promote their interests at all times, 24/7, 365. Here we have all types of characters turning up. Genuine developers and transnational criminal cartels. They're all here rubbing shoulders, operating together. They wear their neckties and speak their fancy language and bring their army of lawyers and accountants, and we might be overwhelmed into thinking that they're here to help us. I can tell you in most instances, 90% of them are here for their own reasons. driven by profit, driven by greed. And we are the people who have been elected here to protect our people and screen them and scrutinize them and see whether they are genuine or not. In our own houses, for instance, we do not allow criminals to come in. We don't allow thieves to walk in. We don't allow rapists and murderers to come and mingle with our children and our families. So we should take that type of stance when we deal with this type of organizations and characters. We should assess whether they're here for genuine reasons or not. That should be the question we ask ourselves. And we've had many inquiries to that effect. For example, the Toss Barnett inquiry. An inquiry into crime, organized crime in the forestry sector. That inquiry came and went and nothing happened. And then the SABL inquiry, same thing, same players, same people were named, same organizations were identified, also nothing happened. Lots of taxpayer money spent, absolutely no results in regards to the recommendations made in those two inquiries. And if they did an inquiry into fishing, I can tell you it's very similar. The only difference is it's out there in the open sea, so you can't really tell. When it happens in forestry, you can see them cutting a forest, trees are being felled, bulldozers are going through, they're trespassing on traditional land, they're mistreating landowners there. You can see it happening, but out there in open seas, you can't. So it's the same. And it's not just fisheries, it's not just forestry, alluvial mining, it's happening. For the next 50 years, what are we going to be doing? Are we going to be complacent? Are we going to ignore our people and then just run back to them every 5 years hoping for their vote, and then once we get it, we abandon them? So questions I'm just posing here whilst debating this very important bill that has been brought to us to consider. I'm proud that in my province I have taken cases on behalf of my landowners on numerous occasions, and we have won 3 of them. But it's been a struggle because the very departments and organizations and authorities and whatnot, filled by Papua New Guineans, by the way, public servants, instead of helping me and my people, they have fought against me and my people. They have sided with these cartels and transnational criminal organizations. That's what they are. They might be calling themselves investors and developers, but that's not what they really are. If you were to peel the sheep skin, you'll find the wolf skin right there. And if you even were to remove that, there the snake skin is. And many of them are here operating in our hotels, and they walk through our government departments. They turn up here. They communicate with us. They ask for a coffee and sit down and say, Minister, Governor, I have some things I wish to discuss with you. And they wear their neckties and they speak their fancy English and they carry their army of accountants and lawyers. And we're mesmerized by them into thinking that, my goodness, this person, well, he looks like Jesus, so he must be right. And therefore, he's here for good reasons and purposes. But oftentimes, that's not the real reason why he's here. They're here to rape, plunder, and steal our resources. You must never forget that. Not all of them, but quite a few. Yes, I will support this bill. I'm very supportive of the Minister for Lands and Migration. He's doing a magnificent job working on developed technology, rapidly progressing technology. The internet is here, the age of information and misinformation. AI is now here. Finally, I just want to say that we have to start educating our public servants, our people, our children about this advancing technology, and we have to utilize it for the good of our people, put in place those necessary mechanisms to protect our people, especially our landowners. And before I wrap up, I do know that the member for Koyari Hiri has some proposals and some ideas on land management. I think these are great ideas. We should embrace them. They propose how best we can manage our land and protect them for our landowners, our traditional landowners, and ensure that as long as we are in charge of our land, we will remain a robust, united nation moving forward. Thank you.
Honourable Member for Hiri Koyari.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. For the opportunity to add my debate for this most quite important these various amendments in the land sector. Before I do, if I could also acknowledge the presence of the students from the Edevu Adventist Primary School in Hirikwayari district. So I welcome them and thank you for sitting through this very important hearing this morning. The same token, I welcome to the floor the member for Central Bougainville, Honorable Mering Toro, to serve his people on matters concerning this nation. I also stand here, Mr. Speaker, to support these amendments to primarily to the Land Act 1996, and various provisions therein. And I adopt the sentiments, the commentary shared by the debaters before myself, Honorable Sir Pukatemu, and the good Governor for Oro, Honorable Gary Jufa. But I'd like to add some thoughts, and it's my contribution to these amendments. For the record, on the hand side, and the good Minister for Lands and Deputy Prime Minister could kindly take on some of these views. And whilst I support these amendments, Mr. Speaker, I want to make commentary in relation to about 4 or 5 matters that are glaringly of some concern to a certain degree. First, Mr. Speaker, is in relation to the definition of customary landowners. Under the interpretation provision, Section 2 of the Primary Act, it says customary landowners, according to the amendments, will be included the following: means a clan, a lineage, family, extended family, or other group of persons who hold or are recognized under custom as holding rights and interests in customary land, and includes as land group incorporated under the Land Groups Incorporation Act, Chapter 147. Mr. Speaker, this is a serious concern. It has been tested and proven that the ILG Act has been a failure in this country. It is the cause for a lot of litigation in the courts, and this is how it works. In a nutshell, the ILG Act can be formed by, under the ILG Act can be formed by any manner of people in this country. Not necessarily genealogically connected by biology or otherwise, or even related to any spatial land geography at all. There is a great risk of how this ILG Act has been implemented in this country since its inception. The ILG Act, the background of the ILG Act, we must understand, was brought forth by the colonial administration to put into groups in their language, Kanakas, or Plesman, who were not identified or seen through the eyes of the law as legal entities, and that is the clans. And so that was proposed under the White Australian policy at the time. I say this unafraid and unreservedly, by the colonial administration pre-independence, to give it prominence and to give it cognizance under the post-independence legislation within the process of post-independence decolonization. It's a fallacy and it's a high risk. It's very dangerous. Because we also know that there are ILGs in the courts on top of ILGs, and the ILG inventory suggests spaces of land that don't even belong to people who claim to own these lands. The definition now, a dangerous one, gives those rogue elements the legal right to have claim over land.
Correct.
Well, no been owning Slal ground. We have people who have only sit here 50 years and now claim ownership in areas outside the Hill Quarry. People from other districts in Papua New Guinea. Even within Central Province, we have this problem. Inter-district and outside of the district into other provinces, coming into Central Province. Hill Quarry, for instance. Same is true in Morobe Province and every other province, I'm sure. Same is true in Western Highlands Province. Everywhere in this country, there are people moving around because of one reason or another, maybe because of marriage. But 20 years living there does not entitle you or anybody in this country a genealogical connection to the land that you sit on or you squat on. There cannot be disallowance. We have to be very careful and respectful of our people and our indigenous respective lines of genealogy. And number one thing, Timlobi, Antapandapta Solmi Milek. Number two, the area Milek contributes, Mr. Speaker, is positive and also a negative, and that is Section 132 of the proposed amendment deals with a declaration that any purported disposal of land is criminal. And I commend the good minister for this pronunciation again, only to the extent that it does. But my reservation and my concern, or rather suggestion, would be that we add a penalty prescribed to the criminalization of sale of customary land. It's fine and very well to say that it is wrong and it's criminal to sell and buy land that is customarily in nature and undocumented or not state land. That's good. But then you have to, by law and good practice, prescribe a penalty. Man must carry him heavy. You don't just tell them it's wrong, but we have to criminalize and put them into lockup. This is happening. The very people who come and complain about their land being stolen are the very people who are selling the land. Very people who are selling the land. We conducted some hearings recently and we heard some stories and some accounts. And the public outcry about people selling land and we have been taken away and pushed away from our land. But hey, who's selling? The buying will stop when the selling stops. So we need to just put that extra part in. If there is a way to bring this additional prescription, Mr. Minister, it's not too late. We can always add this on in a further amendment or adjustment to the draft as they are tabled today. So we should add that little part in and prescribe it. Now, finally, in relation to Section 15 of the amendment, which relates to Section 72 of direct grants, I adopt the comments made by the good member for Abao, Sir Honorable Pukatemu, as to his concerns. Now, this provision basically expands the scope of the powers of the minister to make direct grants. The original provision is about prescribes only 4 scenarios. And those scenarios are now being expanded into 4 more additionals. And those 4 more additionals are these. There is a proposed subsection A, B, and C. I will not labor. But E onwards are of some concern. That is this. Under Section 102, it relates to special agriculture business leases. So by this legislation, this amendment, the minister will be empowered to make direct grants in relation to any proposed special agriculture business leases. The concern is this. Not too long ago, in the recent past history, within 4, 5, 6 years ago, a special agriculture business lease commission of inquiry was conducted. And that commission of inquiry returned some reports. In those reports, there are recommendations for certain titles to be surrendered and cancelled. We are yet to hear whether that particular report's recommendations have been implemented. We do great justice to the country and the resources of the country that have been expended quite liberally on the inquiries that have been held. This one should be brought forward so that we know, the people of Papua New Guinea must know whether these SABLs have been cancelled as recommended by the inquiry and whether they've been reverted and cancelled and land to be returned to the people. A lot of fraudulent or quick fix titles were issued as a result, as found by the inquiry that I referred to. So that in itself is already controversial. I don't comment on section 130 and 131 because there's an assumption that the applicants applying for subdivision or consolidation are owners of the various titles and simply want subdivision. So it's common sense and logical that it should be allowed. And the minister should exercise that power expeditiously in favor of the developers that are coming through. So I take note and thank you for that. Section 100 is also of no debate, and that's in relation to special purposes leases to a public body. So if a public body wants to do a development or have access and based on public interest, this is the ordinary mode of obtaining a title. Section 65(2), however, is a bit of a concern, Mr. Speaker. Section 65(2) of the Land Act actually is in relation to grants of state leases under this Act. That is a general catch provision. What that means is the minister into the future will have the power to grant any titles direct as long as it relates to a state lease under this Act. That's basically everything. Every title that has been, land that has been alienated and subject of a state lease is now within the power of the minister to decide and make a direct grant without going to the board. The board is placed there for a particular purpose, and that is to provide a screening process and apply its own criteria, distribute assets or property in this country equitably and fairly as contemplated by the Constitution. And the National Goals and Directive Principles, there's a specific prescription of fairness of distribution of wealth of the nation. Land is a very important component of the wealth of this nation. On it, in it, and within it lies everything that concerns the balance sheet of this country and the private sector as a whole. To grant this power into one man or one person will go against the ambits of the prescription of or creation of the Land Board. And so this may create a dangerous trajectory for the country's wealth and land administration going into the future. But having said that, I want to also commend at a higher level the intent of the introduction of electronic data in relation to the records of the land's administration in this country, the GIS and so on. But with these additional comments I make, Mr. Speaker, I will support the amendments to the extent that I've made my additional comments and the recommendations and suggestions for the good minister to take on board. And I can only pray and hope that we can see some more additional insertions in relation to those prescriptions. Thank you kindly.
Honourable Member for Sinachineyangwu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I commend the Minister for his efforts today to modernize land transactions in Papua New Guinea and making it electronics-based. I only want to make a few comments in relation to his proposed bill, amendment to the Land Act touching on disposal of customary land. In this country, 97% of the land is in that category. Only 3% is in the hand of the state. And all the business of government and everybody, church and business that we do is on the 3% of the land. Some time ago, I remember reading a writing by a very serious economist. He said, the amount of money that's in circulation in a country has some correlation to the amount of mortgageable land that that country makes available. The amount of cash that's in circulation in that country. has some relationship to the amount of mortgageable land that's available in that country. So what it means is that the land that's capable of being mortgaged in Papua New Guinea is that 3% that's owned by the government. Not too many people, businesses or lenders, will take a mortgage out of customary land. We all know that. So if 3% of the land is giving us the current state of business and development in this country, then there's a message in there. Imagine if we were to bring in the mortgageable level of land from 3% to, say, 10% at the top level. That's a maximum. That is multiplying the cash flow by about 3 times what it is at the moment. And imagine what that sort of impact will have on our economy if what that economy says is true, that the cash in circulation has a direct correlation to the amount of mortgageable land. So our challenge here as the government is to find out how we can make more land available for mortgage. When we all went to the campaign, Mr. Speaker, we promised to bring development. So you can bring development, but where will you hang it? You can't hang it in the air. People want development, so we can't hang those services up in the air. We need land, we need space upon which to locate those developments from which they can benefit. So people need development. We have promised to bring development, but the impediment we have is the lack of availability of land. So the challenge is not the people's, Mr. Speaker. The challenge belongs to our good minister as the man responsible for land in this country, and us, the elected leaders. We have to find a way forward where more land is brought into a mortgageable form. Once you convert a bit of customary land into state lease or into some other form of title, then that land must have sufficient integrity to be mortgaged. The bank must accept that security, that land as security to give their loans so business can be built upon it. That is our challenge. So, Mr. Speaker, to cut a long story short, what I'm saying is I think we should ask our minister to set up a committee going forward. We need to free up some more land to bring it into the available pool of land, mortgageable land in Papua New Guinea, so that we can introduce more businesses, bring more goods and services to our people. And in fact, in that process, there can be provisions written into it that will allow the landowners themselves to be able to monetize and benefit from bringing their land into a mortgageable form. How it can be brought into that form is something that can be, then we can figure out through proper study and advice from people who know. Now, such a system is not foreign. Our neighbors in Fiji, most of their customary land is in that format. It is capable of being mortgaged. And the rents are paid to some common pool somewhere and is distributed to the local landowners. That's how they do it. There's no issue down there. They do it so well. So we need to figure out how to do that. I'd like to advise the minister. Now he says we can't sell customary land, has no effect in law in Section 19 of his amendment, which is fine. It gives security to the 95% of the land. However, sale is different from a lease. So perhaps the way to look at it is how can we empower our people to not to sell, but to sell a lease? After all, that's exactly what the national government is doing with the 3% that's in its hand. The 3% that the national government has got in its hand, it's selling or renting it to lessees for a rent. Once a lessee gets it, he sells it, buys and sells. It's a commodity. People trade it. Something similar can be done with customary land, but protecting the cash flow back to the customary landowner. That can be done. So what we need is, my serious recommendation to the minister, Based on what that economist said that I read some time ago, he said the cash flow that you can generate in your country has a correlation with the amount of mortgageable land you've got available. Right now, for us, it's a very well-known fact that it's only 3%. That's the bit that's mortgageable. So our entire economy, the whole currency that we have in circulation in Papua New Guinea that underpins everything, is based on the value of that 3% of mortgageable land. So why don't we look at bringing more into that basket and then see what impact it has on our economy? I'm sure there'll be a lot of very, very positives happening for everyone's benefit, customary landowners, government, businesses, churches, all of us. Thank you, Speaker.
The Honorable Governor for NCD.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, to give me opportunity to contribute to this very important debate. Before I go on to the points I want to raise, I just want to acknowledge all the points that have been made by our honorable members of parliament, very valid points, caution that we need to caution ourselves and raise so that we help the minister in his portfolio to manage this very important resources of the people, the land. I acknowledge the points that are raised by Member for Abao, very valid points. Governor for Oro too, about protecting our customary land and land rights. Member for Iri Koyari and also Member for Kundiawa, sorry, Sinasina Yongumur. But my purpose now, contribution is mainly to support the Minister for Lands and perhaps help him to clarify, a bit further and the purpose of the amendment to, in fact, like assure us, honorable members and all people below me, about the purpose of this amendment that you make clear along it. I think the purpose of the amendment, Mr. Speaker, is very clear. The Minister stated very clear, reduce delay in land dealings, modernize administrative process, and improve communication and productivity with the department and its stakeholders. And this is important. All the caution that you may raise him is valid too, but giving the minister this power or opportunity or to fast track the process is very important too. We all know that getting access to land is a problem. Even for us as members of parliament, it's a problem. You will assemble me, but me, I've tried before I became a member of parliament. Now as member of parliament, I'm hard. Mr. Speaker, more importantly for us in the city too, trying to get all the land that has become a settlement, get it to NCDC, and so that we can start and complete the conversion of settlement to become proper plans about. It's like rocket science. Go through the lands department or go through long land board. It's a problem. And we only started to get all this title when now Minister for Foreign Affairs became the land minister in 2017 or 2017. And now with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration now, we are getting to start to get access to this land so that we can plan our city here in Port Moresby, and I'm sure the other, urban authorities will also appreciate these powers that are, not necessarily in this amendment. What I want to assure Mr. Speaker, members of parliament and our people is that all this power now is the Section 15 law, this amendment here, it's already in the Land Act 2016. It's already there. And no nuclear power that the minister is seeking. It's already there. And apart from, Mr. Speaker, apart from getting these electronic platforms into it, the powers there, you can look as a member for Sinasina Yongumuki talk, accessing customary land. It's already provided under Section 10 of the Act. But you mean Oklo Yusim? Section 10 of the Act says we can acquire customary land by agreement. And that's very important too. Instead of me waiting, landowners all go and work in daily and day, especially in the urban areas, urban landowners out of desperation, all not got income, all not got employment, all not running business too. The only thing they have is their land. So all go salimia, left, right, center. Why not, Mr. Speaker, we use this provision of Section 10. So the minister through and the department can go and have an agreement, and then they can convert it into a lease. And then the terms and conditions, they work it out so that it's a win-win for customary landowners and the state, and you may all get like excessive ground. Very important asset for development. Huh? So this power that now is provided under Section 15 here of the amendment, it's already in the Act. And in the current Act, the minister probably has not been using it, so now it come up. I think, Minister and Mr. Speaker, I think the Parliament is saying that use this Section 10. Be proactive now. Go out and help our landowners. And don't wait for them to start selling here and there. Now, you mean talk, what is this? Land grabbing or whatever. Let's be proactive. Section 100, along urban centers, we need Section 100. Section 100 is for special purpose. And the minister is helping us to special purpose here. We have a plan now to clear out the city center of Port Moresby, our capital. People are relocating all the settlement inside the city center. We have a plan to relocate them. And how the minister is going to help us in this respect. And by giving me a special purpose of the Section 100. Kokopo 2, all the Section 102 belong agriculture and business lease. And you may get concern long in. When I've got an inquiry come up long in here, Mr. Speaker. But it's already in the Act, Section 102. So it's just restating it again in Section 15 of the amendment. Suppose you mean like Rausim, I think you can go along with them. Principal Act, delete or repeal that particular Section 102. But for some reason it was there, and amendment is not giving the minister new powers. It's just restating it. Section 99.2, it's a list of where government you got all building is tabling already. Yeah? This is very important too in the urban areas. Some, government buildings are not on proper list. I think all got COA, or I forgot what COA means. Minister by talks about Mr. Speaker. But some government building and property institution, they don't have proper list. So now the minister with that power, which is already existing, can give him list of government. So that's Section 99. Section 119, variation of purpose and relaxation of covenants, is stop finish, NUPLA law. But what I want to say is that Section 119 power, Section 130 power, Section 131 power, which are approval of subdivision, consolidation of list, the minister is beginning to decentralize it to urban government, or like NCDC or Kokopo City Authority or Lay City Authority. So these are not powers that are vested only with the minister. It's under the Principal Act, but it's starting to decentralize it now. So Miplalo City, we already have exercising this power on behalf of the minister. So Milag assure him, you mean, no good you may thinking of some minister is grabbing so much power under Section 15 of the proposed amendment. These are, I want to assure Mr. Speaker that these are not new powers. It's already in the Act. Yeah. And some of it, as Miboklo Tokia, is already decentralizing as part of our planning powers. And in the provinces too, you play look at land boards, so the minister will delegate some of these powers to the provinces. So I think you may get some of the concern, because in the past, ministers were abusing their powers, giving ground equal or chronis blongolo. You may public la come some ground, you may no clock simaria. Online only just fly in. Now that's all only clock sim easy access to land. That's true, Mr. Speaker. Or Assistant Speaker now. That's true, and you must be concerned about it. But the mechanism to, ensure that doesn't happen is there. Ombudsman is staff. Fraud squad is staff. Now you got the ICAC or already is staff. They should do their work. So, but he got some merits where the minister must retain him some of these powers so that him can deal with the customary landowners easily under Section 10, helping people along urban centers under Section 100 special purpose list. And the special purpose list, you will get it clear, individuals cannot get special purpose. So business line cannot get special purpose. It's only to public purposes or some, hospital or road or school or some community center. And it's most of the time vested to authorities like NCDC or Lay Urban Authority or Kokopo City Authority or Mount Hagen, City Authority or Kainosim. So, Mr. Speaker, may I just give him this clearance or help him, Minister, or explain him, so you may can think of some minister is after new powers. No, these powers are already in the Act, in the Land Act now. It was passed in, 2016, no? Long time ago, but it was passed by this Parliament. So you may like complain long end, you may get right or complain long end. But we have to go back and amend the Principal Act or remove or repeal those particular clauses, I must long end. But I want to assure everybody that Minister is not bringing new powers that is not already there. I think you may not get scrutiny this long time, so you may worry when we see it now, you may worry long end. I think side long there's a provision about cannot sell customary land here. I think that's a valid point. It's already law and stopped as well. All man meri all salim ground here to walk him illegal kind here and there. So, Mr. Speaker, I think me one bill law proposal of member law he requiring there must be some penalty clause. Penalty against you said buy him. You say it's illegal now you go buy him. Now you said it's salim. Because the problem is that line all salim too. So that comes back to the point me talk Kenya that government needs to be proactive. I think our people wants to support the government, support development. But you mean not proactive? So all stop now, all thinking now. Me by salim ground here. Because they have no other ways of income. The other thing too that Mr. Speaker or Assistant Speaker may like mentioning is that even though this Land Act only covers 3% of the land in PNG, but now you may talk about customary land, but the fact of the matter is that we are accessing customary land through other acts, like Mining Act or Forestry Act or whatever, Agriculture Act. Or, you may get this special mining list when I'm logging, whatever, permit, kind of thing. So, in fact, customary land is not and customary ownership is not an impediment to development. And it shows that if we negotiate and if we go and sit genuinely with our customary landowners, they will cooperate with government or developers. But they must be given all the aspects of development or the pros and cons of whatever is going to take place. Then they will make a conscious decision. So meeting of them, you mean you can rush to much though, convert them all customary land into state land or into a lease. We go and negotiate with them genuinely. And I think our people will, arrive at a win-win outcome. So that's basically my contribution, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, me like Sanap Long, Banisim Tok, you may Tok Tete. In the face of our 50th anniversary, some of these corrective updates in our laws must be made so that you may secure in future of our country blame ground something where you may get sit down logan. No got one pla picnic blow this country landless. All of us are linked to a land somewhere in our country. And so Banisim this ground issue is very, very important. I mean, I commend him, Deputy Prime Minister, as well as Minister of Law Ground. And he put in plenty concerted effort into this law work. One can also Governor Bloro, he make him talk also. He work local creative efficiency, law immigration right now. That is suppose you go and you like apply long visa come country, it takes us less than or around 2 minutes for a visa to be processed for those who are coming into our country. Again, ICT-based, electronic system update. So technology, ICT is now available to assist us. Quick time moving and increase efficiency, eliminating inefficiency in our system. Our relevant ministers, for instance, Minister of Finance has been instructed already. Minister for Public Services also has been instructed. Selection of workman must be ICT-based, artificial intelligence to assist. Tender procurement of goods and services in our country must be ICT-based, artificial intelligence assisted. Eliminating personal preferences and people moving file from office to office. That is many times delayed in us arriving at an efficient system to deliver quality selection choice for NEC to make, or in this instance, land boards to make. Mr. Assistant Speaker, this reform, Lands Minister Ikarim Kam in or in Power Blong Lands Board. Power Blong Lands Board is up yet. But we want to tidy the system in which efficiency is arrived. We deal with land matters at the very earliest. This reform will still run its course in the judiciary. We're working with the Chief Justice Office also to use ICT to drive many of these efficiency that is required in our system. We like asking Parliament, you give him support long Lands Minister. And if there are other ways where you can look and improve this law, I propose that we establish a bipartisan committee to look into this matter. The reason is simple. This law, you may bring him come today and must, can offend him right long all people. Right long all people must be secured forever. You may now, for instance, like asking more to go along business, agriculture, or forestry, or fisheries, or real estate, whatever it is, sit down on top of the ground long all. Our people own land. How do we identify them as real person, ground block, so that land could be a bankable land in his or her country? Right now, this ground is not bankable. So we're also working to find ways to make that land bankable for that person. I mean, no need long wait as all and power, oil and gas, no gold, no land of value, no that. Ordinary ground, ground of value, Mr. Apna. Me, I'm much long this reform. For instance, and protect him. Orlando urban areas, one of the greatest pain I live with is Motu Quaitas losing their land. And I'm happy that this law is able to secure further erosion of limited land they have and giving protections that no one sells or no one buys, and a clan or a person alienated from his or her land forever. So we're trying to tidy this space. Our people and their link to the heritage through land is secured perpetually, and any work in as far as land is concerned is done through a proper way, in most instances lease, and only in few instances, especially when state have to procure for infrastructure, roads, schools, bridges, state can procure, but most land are still organized in a lease manner going forward into the future. This is the greatest asset the independent generation, the Somali generation, has gifted our country. That land is not alienated from our people. The Lands Minister is trying to tidy efficiency in this place, protect our people's land right. And I ask both sides of the House, let's give support to the Minister. And if there are any areas that we feel needs to be further improved in law, from this side of the House as leader of the government, I want to give assurance to members on both sides that we will work together. I think the Lands Committee already, Parliamentary Committee already is in place, headed by, if I'm not wrong, the member for Hiri pertaining to the fact that people of Hiri people of Motu Koita, have felt the greatest pinch or punch or slap in the face that they've lost many of the land, and we rightfully so, even though he's sitting on the opposite side, we've allowed him to be chair of this committee. Both sides can work and look into this law. If other areas need to be improved, we improve on this. So our people still have access to the land. I want to announce also our government is looking at a policy where properly registered traditional land, you can go and borrow against it and do business, do house, whatever it is. So this is an important precursor to giving value to our people and the land they own as they march beyond 50 years of our nationhood. So I want us at the juncture to support the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands, and further reforms could be on the table as a work for us this year and next year before our 51st. Thank you too much.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Second reading. Second reading, a bill for an act to amend the Land Act 1996 and for related purposes.
Leave of Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Aye. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. I would like to thank the House for its support, but at the same time clarify a few issues that have been brought up, and at the same time advise the House that all the issues brought up have been noted and will be taken into serious consideration in any further amendments that we do, including the current ones. I would also like to, before that, congratulate the Deputy Opposition Leader, Honourable James Donald, on his appointment as the Deputy Opposition Leader. I would also like to congratulate Honourable Miring Toro on his appointment and winning of the seat of Central Bougainville. Bougainville is an important place for us. Na good pla lo lukim you come sinan lo here, maki mauslo people lo Central Bougainville. With a lot of the issues pointed, let me explain a little bit more. All the issues pointed out, but I'd like to commend Governor Pakop for his insight into this. Governor Pakop's insight into this and explanation has ultimately explained what we have been trying to do here. And the issues that Governor Pakop pointed out are constraints that have been facing the Lands Department for a long, long time. In effect, for any improvements, government has taken this seriously. That is why government has appointed the Parliamentary Committee on Lands and has made the Honourable Keith Iduhu, who sits in the opposition, as chairman because of his insight into these sort of things. That is why we appointed the Honourable Keith Iduhu, because we respect the responsibility that is bestowed on government, so it needs both sides of the House to ensure that we do the right thing by our people, because land is very sensitive and land is very important for our people. So your appointment as a chairman is no coincidence. For the issues, the amendments to the Act, especially on the powers of the Minister to grant lease direct, Most of these powers are existing. Most of the powers are existing, as Governor Parker pointed out. One I would like to highlight, especially because all explanations have been made, is a lease to be issued following the expiry of an existing state lease. This is especially made, most of these are especially made to fast track doing business in Papua New Guinea. Most times when it goes and sits before the Lands Department and the Lands Board, it takes up to 1 to 2 years to renew your current existing lease. It is not about a new lease. It is about the current existing lease. Let's say steamships, for example, in downtown Port Moresby, who has a couple of 100 million kina building there. Once it's done, it is an automatic. Lands Board will automatically give that lease. So it makes it the process much, much shorter now and makes businesses more confident to do business in Papua New Guinea. It just cuts out the cumbersome process that is entangled in the Lands Department, which I am the first person to acknowledge. This one is not just something that is new. It is something that is to make certain business is done properly and we give businesses the confidence to do business in Papua New Guinea. Most of these acts and amendments is to solidify what is existing under the current Land Act and the powers bestowed to the minister. As for Section 10, which Governor Parker once again pointed out, Section 10 is already existing. It is to solidify that. And I would like to commend to you, House, look at Tuhava. That is a perfect example. 585 hectares that belongs to the landowners. The state does not own it, but the state converted that lease in consultation with the landowners, converting 585 hectares, utilized in consultation, and now the people of Roko in Tuhava have now a building in partnership with their development partners, close to 10,000 homes. The first 20 homes have been sold. That development for the first 4,000 homes will constitute, they own part of this, will constitute a 1.6 billion kina return to the people, the landowners themselves, the customary landowners. Government will not take anything out from that. The only thing, the plus is that without any infrastructure input from government, except for policy and subdivision and land board recommendations, the take from government now will be receiving nearly 45 to 50 million kina in returns to state through power, water, land rates at an average of 500 kina per 4,000 or 10,000 homes is about 5 million kina per annum return with not single one toya into this infrastructure development. It creates homes, puts roofs over heads for people, and it also creates employment for people and leaves ownership with the landowners in their business arm. And it gives them a bankable title, like what Honorable Karenga Kua pointed out, and I wish he was here to listen to my explanation to him. So it would be nice to explain that. So that it gives commendations to the issues that he brought up. It frees up and guarantees our traditional landowners a good title that is bankable for tenants to use. For protection, the laws to protect traditional customary landowners to sell the land, it is not a bad law. Land is the essence and underlying of all of us. It is to protect our people from themselves. We get a lot of complaints everywhere, including La Place Plumia too, including especially the people of Motu Koitabu, of people selling land willy-nilly with government which has no control over it. And after consultations with the Honorable Keith Idu in an informal conversation, we have brought that into place to protect our people of Motu Koitabu. So kandre nogan salim lo pipe kina, pikinini nogan salim lo 5,000 kina or 10,000 kina, you le salim, you consult when the government threat na salim. You know salim lo like blue na bian suri talk lo lens minister and the talk, you sali ground lo me. Em no ground below me, but me bla government salim, customary land on the ground. We are putting in a process to guide the process, so you know can sali lo kongkong, or sali lo napla man, or sali lo kind man about. Come lo government acquire him, convert him, go good, put him, help him papa ground, so you can see na anta lo ground you for perpetuity. Em lo stop him, you mean lo sali ground long number, na bien blaming government lo disla heavy blaming.
So this law, come law, halibim government, halibim people, so the government can work on them people. Lo you mean work him good, na people blame me, you mean must look at him all, na sit down good, especially in our urban peripheries, because this plenty complain you miss sim all the time. Lo government responsible lo sali ground. Kasme ground, ground blue. No ground lo government lo mi bakam sali ground blue. Gandre blue salim, pinging blue salim, bien you should talk lo government. So this law now, lo mi plus straight him good, sit down him good. So this law and by protecting people, lo no can salim ground outside nothing. You must salim good, convert him good, work on the government. You let salim straight, you acquire him, go lo government acquire him, convert him go state lease, na you may work on them online developer na free map ground. It is to protect our people. It is not for land grabbing or anything else. The electronic processes that we have pointed out, Honorable House, Mr. Assistant Speaker, is to also protect against this. We have titles that are duplicate, triplicate, title on top of title, survey on top of survey, kind something on top of something. With the electronic process now, Emba working good through, so by rausim ogra disla, or kind passing nungu di come up there. Now also by fast track him, Mr. Assistant Speaker, fast track him disla process blame, so you know you miss sound 3-4 years, lo working on the land conversion, and by working hurry up. Now you got proper record, na man inon absani sim survey nothing, inon absani si title nothing, by got signature stuff inside, Mr. Assistant Speaker. So mipla can say usat play want all this title, na record, talk blow missing records, na kind something or same, inon api come up more. Let me point out, Mr. Assistant Speaker, and to the House, that the start we have done with the Lands Department on electronic payment systems is an example of what can be done. Also, what was pointed out with the Immigration Department. The current, when I took over, the annual collection for the payment system for the total of land in Papua New Guinea, alienated land, was 9 million kina per annum. Today, as we speak, we have surpassed 60 million kina per annum in collection. Not by employing new people, not by doing anything, just by doing a proper electronic platform process. Now online I'm collecting straight, paying straight, something go good. So consolidated revenue now receives an income directly from the Lands Department, from our people, 60 million kina. We have now moved some of the outstanding debts that is incurred by a lot of major companies that owes the government of Papua New Guinea $500 million in unpaid land leases and rentals, improving those records, and now we are collecting on that. So this year, we are collecting towards a target of 80 million. We have already surplus 60 million kina this year. Last year was 60 million collected, and we hope to improve that. So that is improving the efficiency of land in one aspect only, Mr. Assistant Speaker, on the collections of us. And if you look at a whole of perspective, the total that the Lands Department contributes to collections at this point in time, including stamp duties and other associated costs, Mr. Assistant Speaker, now collects 170 million kina in total. 170 million kina. That never used to be collected before, because we have now improved on the electronic processes, we have improved on that, and as pointed out by Governor Jufa, is that immigration has undergone the same transformation, and the long lines of standing, Mr. Assistant Speaker, are now shortened. And you can apply for a visa online. You can apply for a visa online and get it returned for you under the space of 2 minutes. It's a first. It's faster than you can get it in Australia, faster than anywhere else in the Pacific region. And that is all homegrown, home designed, and everything done here internally. We don't say much, but we try to put our heads down and work, Mr. Assistant Speaker. The electronic platforms, Mr. Assistant Speaker, I'd like to commend to this House that it is an important thing, and whole of government should be working towards that. We are currently working at ensuring procurement systems are done electronically, and that will be rolled out in all aspects of government. For the ILG, I share the same concerns, Mr. Assistant Speaker, and I would like to inform the House that I have issued instructions 2 weeks ago to hold all ILGs until we go through the system. I share the concerns. It is being abused at the moment with the ILG system. And I have instructed that that be held until we review the system, sitting in consultation with our parliamentary committee chairman to ensure that we find a direct, better way of doing business and assisting our people doing it properly. So that is something that the Lands Department will undertake to find a system that improves and a system that helps our little people, and it's not abused by a lot of our people. It's abused solely by a lot of educated people. Naisa working online blimilo place isinaun karanki lo giram dongol. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the amendments to the Act are to protect our people. They are not to be abused. They are here to, I'd like to assure this House that it is to protect our people, and further consultation or amendments to any acts will be circulated as the Honourable Sepuka pointed out, will be circulated for your input into this. Mr. Speaker, Assistant Speaker, I think that is all from my end, and I would like to say thank you to everyone else, and looking forward to working together in cohesion to ensure that we do the amendments to protect our people. A final one, Mr. Assistant Speaker, was pointed out on the Fijian model. The Fijian model, Mr. Assistant Speaker. That model is good. It is good, but I didn't have the opportunity to visit Fiji, but I had all these good stories about what this model was being done in Fiji. So last year I took it upon myself to go to Fiji for the first time in my life. I went down there and I had a look at the systems there. I had a look at the systems. Whilst the model is advocated to be good, I don't think it is best suited to our people in Papua New Guinea, because it also takes away powers of land ownership from our ordinary simple people and puts it, the same thing, into the hands of a few elites that when you go to Fiji, a lot of these elites, you don't see, you go down to Tarama, for example. You go to the Tarama, you have mansions being built at Tarama. You have really good houses being built in our villages and stuff. In Fiji, you can't do that. When you come here, the ordinary person has absolute traditional rights to build a house wherever it feels like, suppose in Pablo ground. And those things we should be looking at whilst trying to emulate the Fiji model. We should look at it so that we do not risk alienating our people and putting power over land into the hands of a few elites in our customary system. It will become similar like the ILG system. So we've got to find a mix, a middle ground, that I'm certain we can find, working in close consultation and advice with the chairman of a parliamentary land committee, to ensure that we find the middle ground so that we can find the best possible route or platform for our people to utilize their land. One day, Mr. Assistant Speaker, thank you through the House, and thank you for supporting this bill. Thank you too much.
The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Third reading, a bill for an act to amend the Land Act 1996 and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands. Clerk.
Notice number 56, 156, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Survey Amendment Bill 2025.
Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Survey Act, Chapter 95, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I take note the Parliament referred to my previous speech already said that covers this.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Second reading. A bill for an act to amend the Survey Act, Chapter 95, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Minister for Lands and Physical Planning and Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Survey Act, Chapter 95, and for related purposes. Notice number 157. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Survey Coordination Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading. A bill for an act to amend the Survey Coordination Act, Chapter 203, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Physical Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like Parliament to take note of the speech I already made, which covers this also.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Palance. Mr. Clerk.
Second reading. A bill for an act to amend the Survey Coordination Act, Chapter 203, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Fiscal Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Third reading, a bill for an act to amend the Survey Coordination Act, Chapter 203, and for related purposes.
Mr. Clerk.
Notice number 158, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Fiscal Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Valuation Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Valuation Act, Chapter 227, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like Parliament to take note of the previous speech said, which covers this also.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Second reading, a bill for an act to amend the Valuation Act, Chapter 327, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
A bill, third reading, a bill for an act to amend the Valuation Act, Chapter 327, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands. Oh, sorry. Mr. Clerk.
Notice number 159, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Land Registration Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Land Registration Act, Chapter 191, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask Parliament to take note of the speech already made that covers all of this.
I see we have questions been put, but there's a minister who wants to debate.
Thank you,
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like to thank you, long, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Law, Lands and Fiscal Planning, and Minister of Law, Immigrations. Long good amendment that may come through. Me like taking cue long. Plenty of debate go finish na debate where Prime Minister come up him. As you may go inside long, step inside the next 50 years of our nation's history. Mr. Speaker, me like talk thank you. Lord Deputy Prime Minister, Lord Simol this amendment he come. Plenty debate that me go straight. Na me one bill all get a debate. Mr. Speaker, while me deal of this Land Registration Act 1981, me like talk some country blow you me binding up facing this problem the ground now. Suppose you may be in a country been allowing this land mobilization and need long Macquarie government. It been trying to come up in 1999. It come along 2000. Plenty of NGOs have been kissing krangi. Now only going to protest them. Plenty lives, long students been lose this time. Plenty misleading. statements, na only misleading country blow you me. If suppose you may be allowing lo display time, but he no got heavy lo ground today. Idea lo display time lo land reform. Lo helping Papa ground lo raise them ground blow so that they can become a bankable document. And because of some NGOs, only crab mol run tintin at the World Bank by come some ground blue me na IMF by come some ground blue me. Cranky tintin. By me no got dispute lo said me Papa true Papa ground. But anyway, Mr. Speaker, what me like talk lo end lo today number one something. Me like him Lands Minister, he must take serious note lo display. All 99-year lease he been come up before lo independence lo you me. Time all the land lease me expire. He must go back lo Papa ground. He must go back lo Papa ground. State in Ogan kisim na salimigol all foreigners. Consultation must take place. Time 99-year lease where you been come up before lo independence and me expire, go back lo Papa ground. Talk to a good law, only like making one law display ground. Me line him also, plan the laws for 99-year lease. Lands Department, you sell him law foreigners. Even you me yet, you make simple ground nothing. You mean no consult on the Papa ground law, when them land use plan, only got law in. And we must stop now. We must stop now. Time when them ground and me expire 99-year lease and me come up, go back. Lord Papa ground, consult on them all, ask him, like na tintin blow law, when them something like making Lord display ground. Salim traditional ground, and you may talk to me, but I no got more sale blow traditional ground, you go all not blow line, whether Papua New Guinea or foreigner. Suppose ground, only Salim finish, he must go back to Papa ground. One bla man or one bla Mary no can go around and talk the same ground lumin and Salim ground. Consultation must come up one time, clan group, properly, before any transaction or ground it can come up. Not bla something. Me surprised, Mr. Speaker. Plenty of foreigner only on him ground, lo country bla you mean. Auna only on him ground lo country blow me. Now you mean you know blow go na buy him ground lo country blow hole. Me like talk also. While me no like discouraging foreign investment lo country, any business lo buy come up lo ground must be done in partnership. One time government blow me or one time Papa ground. Foreigner must not get on him ground lo country blow me outright. And must stumble. You must work him long, make sure that any foreigner like making business lawyer must be done in partnership. Now me like him too also time he may go forward the next 50 years. There should be no more 99-year lease lo country believe me. Whether along special agricultural lease or any form of lease. Because we will not live to see the 99-year lease and by expire. Suppose you may work in oil palm, and while on oil palm, all get us 99-year lease, example of West New Britain, time may expire, must go back to Papa ground. So from here on, time you may like work in lease, special agriculture lease, and must life this project. Example, suppose you may plant in oil palm life got about 35 years. Lease you must stop 40 years. Give him 5-year gap. Developed by renegotiating Napla lease can want the Papa ground. There should be no more 99-year lease. No country blue you mean. Mr. Acting Speaker. Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Plan the time. Me looking, you may complain of ground blue you mean. Ground and life blue you mean. Time me, you may come na discuss land issues, country blue you mean. Land may come a big ground, big issue now country. Me looking plan the 11 centers. All settlers will come inside. Only take over the ground or public ground. Now you mean what control land? Me like me all member of the parliament must take responsibility. Kind of some of animal green. Me set him aside some money. You go to public ground or only start to register in ground law. Plan the time you may talk some more, you may let him all public ground or let it go. But you may must take responsibility, take leadership, to help him all public ground. Plan the law, look at money. Using DSI people in me, using PSI people in me, help him all public ground or register in ground law so that only can use him this plan or make him business. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm more legally talk me like make him, but me like him also, Mr. Speaker, all 99-year lease, no, before I come, time me 99-year lease me come up, I must go back to Papa ground. Going forward, we must look at more 99-year lease. You may look at more asylum ground law, all foreigners. You must stop him. Plan the Aswam come up to Lands Department. You must take him go through Lands Department. And one big issue. You may talk. You may can come to debate, lawyer. But suppose you may not fix him all institutions plus state law, you may. And will everybody stop here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Your Minister for State Enterprise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise to commend our good Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Finlands, for bringing these much-needed amendments to the legislation, the different legislations. Mr. Speaker, in this country, we as a developing country need foreign investment. And for those who want to invest here, they want to be sure that any title that they are given, whether it be agricultural lease or even a state lease upon which they can build, for example, the titles themselves must be indefeasible, meaning that when they have a title on the face of it, no one should challenge it. And if titles have been obtained by fraud, then they can be set aside. For too long, we've had instances where in our very own land department, investors and even our own business people have been issued 3 or 4 different titles over the same land. And fortunately for all of us, under the leadership of our Deputy Prime Minister, this has slowly been improved and changed. And now what you see is that when you get a title from the Lands Department, you will know that there is only the only one title that you are receiving. So things look good for us. And Mr. Speaker, before the Land Act was passed in 1996, prior to the Land Act coming into force in 1996, all vacant land in this country belonged to the state. All vacant land, except those who were being cultivated and which were being hunted upon by our people. They were known as rights which our people had. But all vacant land belonged to our people, and that made it easier for developers to come in and to explore and to bring development. But these days, we are beginning to see, for example, Mr. Speaker, where there is an element or there is an announcement that an oil discovery or prospecting is being done, all of a sudden you see people who emerge out of nowhere to claim to be landowners. And they cause issues for those investors to spend all their shareholders' money to pay for exploration costs. And in the case of mining and oil, for example, Mr. Speaker, it is not easy for one to spend money investing or exploring for things that cannot be found unless you are God. Means that you are actually risking shareholders' money. So it is good that we have this regime where foreign investors especially were able to raise money from the stock exchange and come in to invest. But they must, when doing so, they must know that they will not be interfered by so-called landowners who turn up unexpectedly and make claims and make it difficult for investors. So there is a need for indeed a delicate balancing act that we have to take into account. Those are the challenges that are facing us. But in the case of a 99-year lease, in Australia, all land belongs to the Crown. It is different here. In many ways, there are disadvantages with the system we have in here. But the fact that of those alienated land, only 3% of the land have state land, they begin to accrue or accumulate value over the years, but having a 99-year lease forms the basis of this country. Without a 99-year lease, and if we were to allow all the land to go back to our people upon the expiry of the 99-year lease, most of the towns will go back to the bushes. For example, from where I come from in Agen, my tribe is the owner of at least 50% of the land on which the city is located. If the land were to be given back to my tribe upon the expiry of the 99-year lease, I wonder what we will do with it. That is the question as leaders we have to bear in mind. 99-year leases that we have in our country form the basis of civilization and towns and cities. If a 99-year lease were to be withdrawn or given back to the landowners, you will not have a township of Aitape or Vanimo. Everything will go back to the bushes. We must be aware of that. And those leases will not go back to the owners, because at the time the land was acquired, whether it through normal acquisition or through force, the landowners at that time are no longer around. So you would be expecting someone who's not really a landowner to get that land. At that time, the landowner at that time sold the land to the colonial administration. So those are the difficulties we're having. But, Mr. Speaker, my suggestion is that somewhere down the line, all of us leaders need to ask ourselves whether we should go back to the system or the situation that existed in 1996, and that is to allow land, vacant land, which are not being cultivated by our people, which are not being used frequently for hunting purposes or ceremonial purposes, whether they should be given back to the state so that they can be used properly for development purposes. But I say it because it can be done only on the basis that the leaders who will come before us will be honest and strong leaders who will make sure there is equality in the way that land acquisition or disposal is dealt with. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Second reading. A bill for an act to amend the Land Registration Act, Chapter 191, and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fullens.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted, Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fullens.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read at that time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Land Registration Act, Chapter 191, and for related purposes.
Mr. Clerk.
Notice number 160, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration.
Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fullens.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Physical Planning Amendment Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to amend the Physical Planning Act 1989 and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fullens.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted, Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fullens.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker, Parliament take note of the previous speech that encompasses everything.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Second reading, a bill for an act to amend the Physical Planning Act 1989 and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fulange.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted, Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fulange.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a third time, and I would like to make a comment. Mr. Speaker, taking into account the support that the bills have given, I'd like to say thank you to Parliament for supporting the bills. I would also like to make a comment in regard to the land registration bill and the 99-year lease that was expounded on earlier. I'd like to support Minister Duma, who made the comments earlier, and explain to Parliament on the misconception of the 99-year lease. The 99-year lease that we have adopted under the torrent system from Australia is a lease. When it was acquired by our forefathers, the land was acquired outright. The lease is from government to whoever business or developers want to develop that lease. So the 99-year lease has been misconstrued a little bit. So to clarify that, the lease returns to the original owner, which is government, who owns it outright. Why I say this also, Mr. Speaker, to clarify it, we need to ensure that we protect the leases to be bankable. The leases need to be protected at all cost. Imagine if Port Moresby, the parliament we sit on, was returned and a 99-year lease expired. What would happen? Imagine all the businesses in Papua New Guinea that hold 99-year leases. What would happen? We would destroy the very fabric of our society and the very fabric of our nation, Mr. Speaker. The 3% that we hold in trust is to protect development, business, and to ensure that the banks hold this as guarantee, as bankable titles. That is why the economy revolves around it. But there is a way, Mr. Speaker, to move forward. And that is a way that we can work in cohesion with our people, working in partnership with our people, for them to work together towards the future, to negotiate for them, for state to acquire the lands, exactly like what we did in Tu Harbour, utilizing the Section 10 and also working with some of the proposals put forward by the Parliamentary Committee Chairman, the Honourable Keith Idu, to find a middle ground that we can work and make our landowners also benefit from bankable titles, and to at the same time give, Mr. Speaker, give confidence to businesses. No businesses will come and invest if they have no guarantee on security of title. That is a fact that we cannot disregard. So it is the state's role, the state's ownership to ensure that we protect those titles so that we do not let our country dissolve into anarchy because of complaints, of disputes over alienated lease titles. The state has to protect this at all costs to ensure that these titles are bankable and these titles are utilized for business and development in our nation. It is not an easy decision but it has to be done so that we can protect further investment for the security and the very fabric of society that we sit on. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Third reading, a bill for an act to amend the Fiscal Planning Act 1989 and for related purposes.
Mr. Clerk.
Notice number 160, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Immigration.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I present the Najib Land Development Authority Bill 2025.
Mr. Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to provide for the creation of the Najib Land Development Authority to administer the land acquired under the Land Act 1996 for the Najib Land Development and for related purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fulan.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Fulan.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech.
Mr. Speaker and members of this Honourable House, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the proposed Najib Land Development Bill 2025, a significant legislative initiative that seeks to transform the landscape of land development in our country and to build one of the first towns that we have ever built since independence. Mr. Speaker, the Najib Land Development Bill 2025 implements National Executive Council Decision number 226 of 2023, which approved the National Land Partnership Policy Framework and identified the Najib Township development as a pilot project under this framework. Mr. Speaker, this policy framework emphasizes the essential role of the private sector and the mobilization of land under various tenure arrangements, including state leases, freehold land, and customary land. This bill is an important step towards creating a conducive environment for private investment in land development. Mr. Speaker and honourable members, the current legal regime is inadequate for the development of towns and cities. It does not provide a dedicated mechanism for coordinated land allocation, physical planning, or the construction of trunk infrastructure necessary for modern township development. There is a pressing need for specific legislation to bridge this gap. Mr. Speaker, the Najib Land Development Bill I present today draws inspiration from the Gazelle Restoration Authority, which oversaw the development of the now Kokopo town, following the unfortunate twin volcanic eruptions that destroyed the once beautiful town of Rabaul. Mr. Speaker, the Najib Land Development Bill seeks to establish the Najib Land Development Authority, a corporate legal entity that will spearhead the development of the land under the project area. This authority will have the power to prepare a master plan, scope, design, construct essential trunk infrastructure such as roads, power, water, sewerage, drainage systems, and ensure development of the Najib land into a town. Mr. Speaker, the key features of the Najib Land Development Authority Bill are as follows. The authority will lead land development, not township governance. It will hand it over once its job's completed. Working under a master plan, working in cohesion with the relevant district authority and the provincial government who are part and parcel of this. Development will be private sector led, with the state playing only a facilitative role by providing the legislative framework. No government budget funding will be required to develop this town of that capacity. Private sector investment and support from development partners will fund the authority's operations. The authority will have powers to recommend land allocation, will oversee the planning and construction of infrastructure to create service land for industrial, commercial, residential, and other uses. And the authority will oversee the development of the land, after which a separate municipal authority will take over the governance and administration of the township. Something similar to Tuhava, but on a grander scale. Mr. Speaker, the composition of the board, which is largely private sector, reflects the NEC's emphasis on private sector participation, given the critical role the private sector will play in funding, designing, and constructing the required infrastructure. It will also have representatives from the provincial administration and the district administration. Mr. Speaker, the authority is designed as a project-based mechanism and will cease to exist once its objectives have been fully accomplished. The decision to wind up the authority will rest with the board, ensuring a practical and efficient closure once all development activities have been completed. Mr. Speaker and honourable members, the Najib Land Development Bill 2025 will provide a model for future land development initiatives across Papua New Guinea, thinking outside the box, offering a practical framework for mobilizing land, cutting through numerous red tape, and attracting private investment to meet our growing demand for service land for manufacturing, commercial, industrial, residential, and agricultural purpose. Mr. Speaker, I submit to have a report to Parliament in 18 months from the commencement of this law with the view to draw lessons to inform the development of a legislative framework that will be applicable nationwide once this project is done. With that, I commend on the proposed amendments to the Najib Land Development Bill to the Honourable House, and in accordance with the standing orders, open the debate. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
The Honourable Member for Abao.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also wish to commend the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands for this another important initiative. Obviously, doing things differently in the 21st century with regards to land is also very important, and that's the way the country should move. Having made reference during his statement, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands with the Gazelle Restoration Authority, I also value the concept of Gazelle Restoration Authority. I think the independence of such authorities is very, very important. But at the same time, I am of a very strong opinion that these are still public bodies. These are still public bodies. And so I wish to raise some concerns on particularly Section 8, which is the membership of the board. And Section 16, the application of other acts. I raise concerns on Section 8, on the membership of the board. There are, from reading on the membership, there are 7 members of the board. 2 are ex-officio, one is a Secretary for Lands, and one is a provincial administrator. However, the representatives of multilateral and bilateral concerns me. Why are development partners brought into this equation? What's the value of excluding our own people to be part of, like the Gazelle Restoration Authority? They were made up of Papua New Guineans who led surveyors, geotechs, architects, engineers, etc., etc. But the composition of the board, for me, for the first time, that a national board is bringing in development partners, both multilateral and bilateral. I don't think this is the way we should structure these important so-called public bodies in the name of pure private input on the development of this public property called Nazab land. And so I raised a concern, Mr. Speaker, why is the minister recommending to the Honorable House to have representative of the multilateral partners who has demonstrated keen interest in developing the land, nominated by the minister. A representative of the bilateral partners who have demonstrated keen interest, also nominated by the minister. And then 3 representatives of the partner developers, one of whom, and so there is 5 development partners in the board and just 2 nationals. What's the rationale for this, Mr. Speaker? I strongly recommend the minister to go back and relook at this composition of this board. Why are we bringing development partners? They've got other duties to do. You can bring in private sector, yes, but not multilateral and bilateral partners. Why is the minister recommending to the Honorable House? Out of the 7, 5 of them are from the multilateral and bilateral partners. Where are the private sector? So I raise grave concern of the composition, Mr. Speaker. I strongly recommend that the minister re-looks at this. I don't think my multilateral and bilateral partners should be in the boards of Papua New Guinea public organizations. They got their own roles to play. Particularly for them to be politicized through the appointment by the minister. That's the first argument that I have against this bill, particularly the composition of the board, bringing in multilateral and bilateral partners in the board rather than private sector. The minister has rightly said it should be a purely private sector development program, but in the board, only no staff. It's multilateral and bilateral. Why are we doing that? Section 16 is my second argument, and that is the application of other acts. I know the act is that there is no funds coming from the public at all, but you know, when we established Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited, the state is struggling to hold it accountable because they are not subject to the acts that are listed here, like this board that we are saying. That the acts do not apply to this authority are Public Finance Management Act, National Procurement Act, Salaries and Conditions Monitoring Act, and Public Service Management Act. I think the best example was the Gazelle Restoration Authority. I think that should be emulated in this bill rather than just by word on the structure of the law and another kind game. So, Mr. Speaker, I raise concerns. The principle is okay. We need this authority to take charge of the Nazab development of the city, but I know that there are still issues of the land issues, etc., which way the planning should go, etc. We cannot allow this one board to act, and then eventually when things go wrong, they run into the state, to the government to sort themselves out. And so I raise grave concerns, particularly on those 2 matters. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Governor from Morbe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I thank you for the leave you grant for me to speak on this very important bill sponsored by the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands and Planning in this country. Before I proceed with the debate, I want to sincerely congratulate Honorable Donald James, who has been conspicuously clear in the Parliament in opposing any matters of concern raised by the government. And you have been good, and I think you have been awarded, and rightly awarded. And I'm sorely in that position. You will continue to be, but in this time, probably more constructive, intelligent, and your opposition will be valued in this Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will speak in support of the bill presented by the Minister. Minister, this bill has not come about because of your initial action initially, but it has come about because of the decision of the Morbe provincial government, which I lead. The Morbe provincial government, mandated by constitutional law, on behalf of the people of Morbe, made a decision. They made a decision to shift the administrative and political capital from Lae to Najib. And of course, we had a debated argument, heated argument in the Tutumang, but at the end, the proposal prevailed. We supported wholeheartedly that the proposal for capital to shift, administrative capital and political capital to shift to Najib must stand. So, and Mr. Speaker, there are many, many good reasons, but I will only state few. Lae City, Mr. Speaker, is purely industrial city at the very core of the city, but at the periphery of that city is surrounded and inhabited by settlers. And those land in the periphery of the city of Lae is owned by customary land. And the principle of humanity, Mr. Speaker, exists in the customary land. The people from Morbe all over the 10 districts migrate into Lae in search of employment, in search of providing receiving medication and other things, a business or for search activity. They migrate into Lae. And Mr. Speaker, they have no land to reside in Lae because the core land of Lae City is a state land. It's a state land. And as we know, Mr. Speaker, it's not easy to acquire state land. You have to show the land board that you have a sufficient capacity to develop whatever state land that has been granted to you. And our people, and not just the Morbe people, Mr. Speaker, people from all over Papua New Guinea, reach by road or by air, they come to Lae because Lae is right in the center of this country. It's right in the center of the country. Without being boastful, that's the fact. They come in there. Is it accessible by road? Is it accessible by sea transport and air transport? So they come in, and because there are difficulty to acquire state land, they live around the periphery of the Lae City. And to build a city of Lae, extend building of city of Lae, be it in industry, be it in commerce, be it in government, be it in sales, whatever that might be, Mr. Speaker, you want to move forward, you'll be blocked. That is why and they are human beings. They are the fellows who sent us to give us the constitutional mandate to come to Parliament or to come to any system of government in this country. And we have to respect the source of the mandate. We have to respect the difficulty our people are facing. And we cannot develop the city by pushing our people and bulldozing them around like chickens. No, we have to treat them with respect. But, Mr. Speaker, the land up at Najib, at the periphery of the Najib Tomadasi International Airport, there's sufficient land around the Najib, sufficient land for development. And not just the Najib to this side of the Warayarap, but on the other side of the Warayarap, there's a potential, the vacant land there, along the highway, all the way up to Wateras and Ramu, there is sufficient land to develop, whatever development that may be, Mr. Speaker. So, And then Najab accommodates the international airport, Tomadasi Najab International Airport. There is a potential, Mr. Speaker, that many international community will be coming to Najab, either coming and landing or taking off from Najab. And the population or people coming in, people going out, and all the activities that will take place by virtue of people coming, exposing themselves and seeing whatever around in the Najab, around Morobe province, will increase, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, and there is a potential, Mr. Speaker, that we're thinking of, some scientists, some engineers who advise us that we can dig the sand out and take the sea right to Najab. We can do it. The technology can enable us to do it. So not only do we come to Lae Airport to export or to import, or dealing with any things on the sea, or dealing with sea, but we can take the sea up to Najab. That is the plan, and with the latest technology, the technology we've got, and more being created and invented, we can make this thing happen. So Lae City, the Najab city, proposed Najab city, is going to be the biggest city. And I think the Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, when I invited you, you supported this idea when we came to Lae. I supported you fully. And you assured me that you're going to help me. If there's any land that needs to be purchased, you're going to support me. And the provincial headquarters need to be built. The infrastructure to oust the provincial headquarters, you're going to help me, help the government of Morobe. And I thank you. And Deputy Prime Minister, you take note of that. Your electorate is adjacent, connected to the UN Gulf electorate, which the Najab Tomadasi International Airport is. So, Mr. Speaker, both of you have supported it, and I thank you. You took the matter to the National Executive Council. You just didn't talk and leave it there. You took it to the National Executive Council and get it approved for the development of new township in Najab. I thank you, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister and the Prime Minister, and the NEC which made this decision. Mr. Speaker, we in the Morobe Provincial Government are now planning to move the capital physically, establish the Turumang building in Najab, and physically administrative block and land in Najab, so that we can accommodate and oust the administrative and political headquarters of Morobe in Najab. And now, what it seems now is that when the international airport was developed, Mr. Speaker, was announced, now we have so many passengers, Mr. Speaker, not just the Moravians. I'm just so happy. So many, the Highlanders, so many the Sipiks and the Medang people coming and landing and coming into Najab. Even the New Guinea Island people are coming to get the plane from Najab to the final destination. That is what is happening. So many people are traveling between Lae and Port Moresby. If the Lae Najab International Airport actually came to realization, we don't need to come to Port Moresby. Many people would take off from Lae. But I hope and I dream, I'm positive that all of those dreams will come to realization. Coming back to the bill, debate on the bill, I note points made by Dr. Puka Kemu on the constitution of who should be in the board. I note that your argument is salient. I note that argument, and I'm sure the minister. This is a very valid point, and not just and we must make sure that the authority, whatever authority we establish, must take into account the interest of Papua New Guinea. This is our country, whatever board that may be. We must have, Mr. Speaker, our people there. Our people there. We can trust the foreigners, yeah, we can trust them, yeah, but sometimes we give them more trust, or we give them whatever degree of trust, they can take, they do something not to our liking. So I think Dr. Temu's comment in relation to the constitution of the board must be seriously taken. And I'm sure you're already working pretty hard, and I appreciate your action is taking into account the opposition that has been put, the rebuttal that has been put. As long as it's genuine, they must be taken into account. And I think just the administrator, as a representative of the Morobe provincial government in there, maybe you should include, maybe the next, you introduce a bill, supplementary bill, so that we can have maybe one provincial member in there. All the rest, I'm not disputing with you. I can understand, maybe in the SADO, Mr. Speaker, in the SADO, you have a big plan. I can see that. You have a big plan to involve the international community, the expert, people who have technology, people who are intelligent, people who have who are expert in whatever field they might have. They will surely come. We need them. We need them. They will surely come. And I'm sure you have in the SADO those fellows who are coming to assist you, and can, as you state in that proposed section, to provide the constitution of the board members, that multilateral people will come in, a representative of the multilateral companies will come in, and bilateral representative will come in. In as much as we have them there, we need to have some our people in there. Not just Tom, Dick, and Harry, but people with substance. People with substance are coming. But I can see eventually you will have that amended for the good, as Dr. Temu proposes. So that's that. And quite right, it told Section 16, proposed Section 16 needs to be looked at. We cannot restrict it. We cannot say those acts will not come into application. We cannot say that because, of course, Public Management Act and all those acts, they all come together. We have a government institution in this country which are regulated, and those working in the government institution, they are also subject to those laws. Therefore, and they, one way or the other, we will need them. So I don't think you should strictly restrict, ban the implementation of those or the utility of those acts that you propose in the the draft bills, Section 16. Otherwise, Mr. Acting Speaker, I can see the functions of the board provided, Mr. Speaker, provided for under Section 5, the functions of the board, what the board is going to do. I see those functions well set out, and I am in full concurrence, Mr. Speaker. I'm in full concurrence with the functions of the board. I'm in full concurrence. And then, Mr. Speaker, I see the power of the members of the board. I've already said that. And then Mr. Speaker, and also I can see that these people are going to come and help us to plan, to put the necessary infrastructure there, which you mentioned also in the draft bill. All the infrastructure is there, roads and water and drainage and all the infrastructures that need to be put in to make sure that they qualify, Mr. Speaker, qualify as a township or as a city. You got them all covered in there. And Mr. Speaker, I think that the foreigners, surely we need them. Surely we need them. We'll check them and have them, and they will help us to make sure that all the infrastructure we need are in there, in the land. Mr. Speaker, I know, Mr. Speaker, that the good minister, you have issued a declaration under the Land Act to acquire certain land in the vicinity of the land in question state land plus the customary land. You issued a compulsory acquisition, not just for your good, Mr. Speaker, for your minister, and for the good of the Morobe province. It's good for the country, good for the proposed township. Unfortunately, the National Court and the Supreme Court came hard on you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Minister, we will continue to fight them. We'll continue to fight them. But good thing, Mr. Speaker, very good thing, is the landowners, the Olognalo landowners, customary landowners of those land at the Najab, the Olognalo land, the landowners, they have come to talk to me. We had a couple of meetings, Mr. Speaker, and they are willing to provide their customary land for us to be used to accommodate the new township at Nazar. And I'm very thankful for them that they have done. And provincial government has proposed agreement, Mr. Speaker, proposed agreement with the landowners, and we agreed. We're going to sign the agreement next week. I already gave you a copy of that draft agreement to you. We're going to sign that agreement that they're going to lease their land, provide those land, and the provincial government will pay for the survey of those land, customary land, and also for the fees for valuation. And we're going to help them, Mr. Speaker, to register their land. And we agreed in the draft agreement that, Mr. Speaker, we're going to agree to meet all the costs of the survey and registration of those land, and value of that land, and the provincial government will, of course, Prime Minister has made a commitment, and I will hope that he will help us to pay those landowners who are going to provide those land. And we're going to, and we agreed, Mr. Speaker, we have agreed that this land will be registered, not under the provincial government, not under anybody. All those land, we're going to help them to do the survey and do the evaluation. All of those customary land will be registered in their name. It will be registered in their name. And they will own it, and they will lease it to the government of Papua New Guinea or whoever is interested, particularly to the government of Papua New Guinea and Morobe provincial government. The lease, we propose that it would be 999-year lease, not 99-year lease, no, Mr. Speaker. It's 999-year lease. The similar lease, Mr. Speaker, that was entered into with the territory government in 1972 when the Olognalon clan, Mr. Speaker, Olognalon clan, they leased their land to the territory of Papua New Guinea government for 999-year lease for the Nazab airport. And we used the same concept, and we used the same lease term. So I'm so very thankful. Now, Kadre, you yet blow this place, no Nazab. And so I'm sure your people will be very receptive to all the proposals that you're going to put, not me, but yourself. But I'm your country, I'm begging you up from the back. Thank you. And I've already seen so many Papua New Guineans residing there at Nazab now. Even we have not put a political headquarters there, Mr. Speaker, and the administrative headquarters there, and all other infrastructure necessary to provide social services and whatever service to the people who are coming to Nazab, Mr. Speaker. We have not, but some Papua New Guineans, like member for Jimmy, member for North Waki, is a permanent resident man in Nazab, so he's already become a Nazab. He's already a man from Nazab, and is developing his land in a bigger way. It's providing the cattle to the provincial government, those who want it. So I commend you, honourable member for Jimmy, for North Waki. And there are many more coming in now. I know we are vigorously challenging the Chinese and all the foreign people, but I want to state very clear before this honourable parliament, but the landowners are now on good terms with the Chinese, on good terms. They're in partnership, a partnership in the business to the utility of the land that they lease. So a big business that you see along the highway, big supermarket, and whatever that is there, don't you think that is owned only by Chinese? They're in partnership with the landowners, which is very good. At the end of the day, they can share the dividend whatever they make. So, in as much as we're challenging the foreigners, they are all human beings, so let's be good to them, and they should be good to us, and we all be good to each other, Mr. Speaker, and develop, because we need them, Mr. Speaker, as much as we need them, and we're an international community. But, Minister, I support you, 100%. I support you for this bill.
Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, Speaker, me like talk sorrow me send up a quick summary that's all. Clearing one or two talk where you come out. This bill, Deputy Prime Minister Ikarem, we like trying to bypass it. Many of the impediments in regard to system law government. And we'll give assurance law members of the House, if you look at Section 17, let me talk, no direct funding shall come from the public funds. Trying to mobilizing private sector fund. Beyond him thinking lo to have you may work him here, but in a structured way. And for the first time, you may build him one township. Today you're going to town him got all colonial masters limits him ground him and town him in Annoy. You may know setting one Nubla town, and Najab is just no ordinary town or location. Whilst Borough Provincial headquarters by relocate, you really look like map, Rabal Najab and Mistablo, center of country. So by the time we open this road, you may running from Lake Kamlo, Keramal, or Kamlo Sem, and Tomadasi Airport. Eventually, Najab will be in the heart of the country, servicing New Guinea Islands, servicing Momase, servicing Highlands, and of course the southern side. And the location of Najab coinciding with Leh, and the Ramu Valley into Makam Valley, Wafi Golpo, we want it to be the heart of commerce and business in the country, relieving Port Moresby of the congestion we have here and keeping people there. So it is really in that context. And to bypass, if you look at another provision, let me talk, browsing function belong fiscal planning, now subsuming function of fiscal planning into this authority, Mr. Speaker. Today, you look at the fiscal planning board, take him 3-player, 4-player, 10-player just to go to fiscal planning board.
We have a point of order. What is your point of order?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. A good governor for Morobe has just disclosed to this honorable House that this will be a new city for Morobe province. It is a public city like any other city in the country. Provisions, subsection 17, and fiscal planning not been involved. They're removing the state. You cannot remove the state by law by including those provisions, section 17, and removing the Fiscal Planning Act not to be involved. That's wrong in my view, Mr. Speaker. The state entities must be involved. Just by provision of those provisions, you are removing the state. There's going to be public housing. Hospitals will be there. Police stations will be there. That's the argument I'm making. But this little provision 17 and Fiscal Planning Act not going to be, and the Public Finance Management Act not to be, and then including bilaterals and multilaterals. That's a wrong argument, Mr. Speaker. The state is now pushed into the corner on what I view is a public town, city in the Morobe province, the biggest province in our country. You cannot let the state and the authorities out of this by a mere section 17 that public monies will not be used. Mr. Speaker, please get it right. Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I see the point of contention here, and again, subject to the. I think this law is not made out of sync or not incongruent with all enabling laws in our country. The process that fettered this law is probably fettered through the state process, including state solicitor and all relevant state departments that clears law. The gist of the submission that I'm making in support of the law on the table is sometimes the process we have so much become impediment and it's cumbersome in its own. We're trying to make a one-stop shop where we achieve at doing development in Najab at the very earliest, to ring-fence the airport we have, to ring-fence the relocation and all other, the operational element in my view. There's a link to all the state presence. If you look at the provisions of membership, you still have the Morobe Provincial Administrator sitting, representing the province on the board. You still have the Lands Department Secretary on the board. There is a link to government, and government watch and government oversight, but at the same time allowing private sector to come in, mobilizing private sector resources with minimal, if not no state money. A classical example under the Deputy Prime Minister, you see a miniature vessel that to have a project with no state involvement. Our landowners have the land mobilized and investment running the place. Whatever is already state lease, under existing state lease, in my view, is protected. This one now, the authority comes into work with mobilizing all other land that is not state lease and to work towards delivering a product, in my view, a township, a city expansion that should reflect the way modern PNC should move. I give commendation to this bill to be supported. And again, just like the other law DPM has produced, if someone has a view and if the operation of this law has a teething issue with other relevant laws we have, by all means, this is not 10 Commandments. We can always come back and make changes later. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is that the question we now put, those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Second reading, a bill for an act to provide for the creation of Najab Land Development Authority to administer the land acquired under the Land Act 1996 for Najab land development and for related purposes.
Every Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Every Prime Minister and Minister for Lands.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill is now read a third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. In accordance with constitutional requirements, this bill must be passed by an absolute majority of 60 members. Clerk, please ring the bell. Close the doors. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Would those in favor please stand? Those against, please stand. Honorable members, result lo vote lo display bill. Olusat oli sapotim oli dok sapotim display bill 61 na nose 1. Congratulations, Mr. Minister. Mr. Clark.
Third reading, a bill for NEC to provide for the creation of the Nazareth Land Development Authority to administer the lands acquired under the Lands Act 1996 for Nazareth Land Development Nazareth Land Development and for related purposes.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Leave granted. Leave granted. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that leave of absence be granted to A. Mr. Timothy Massieu, Minister for Information and Communication Technology. B. Ms. Cassie Sawang, Minister for Labour and Employment. C. Ms. Rufina Peter, Member for Central Province. D. Mr. Stanley Sambam, Member for Wewak Open, for the duration of this meeting due to ill health.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the leave of absence be granted to Mr. Francis Sione for the duration of this meeting due to his official travel overseas.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Clerk.
Mr. Clark.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Parliament do now adjourn until tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the Parliament now is adjourned to 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.